convenience and
Ma'am,
convenience.
listen, if you raise your voice to me, you will go to jail.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
Okay, this is your last warning. You will go to jail. Tonight. That is it. You are done. Ma'am, that's it. You're done. Hey.
Police were called to a hotel about two women fighting. As soon as officers went upstairs, it was complete chaos.
What's going on? What's going on?
And I told you I believe they telling me to get out now by you. I don't know what you're talking to. Now this part is on you.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not much. They're grabbing their kids. They're going to be leaving.
Huh?
Did you rent the room?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, the hotel is evicting the whole room. Okay.
What you mean?
Everybody's got to leave from the room.
What do I have to leave for?
They said that there was some kind of incident between parties in the room, and there's too many people in the room.
How is it too many people? We went outside for a second to.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when they came up here, there was 15 some people in the room.
Yeah, God. What a disaster. Why do you think it's okay to have a kid's birthday party with that many kids?
There's only supposed to be, whatever, like
Well, can I
four,
get my money back? Because since I got here,
That
it's
we
been nothing
can't-
but
we can't handle that.
It's been
You gotta
nothing
talk
but
to corporate about
inconvenience
that.
for me, and I still decided to stay here. So I
Yeah,
don't understand what's going on.
you'd have to talk to corporate about that. I can't make that decision. We're just the police, so they've asked us to get everybody out of the room, and
So is it because my friend is transgender?
I
Is
have,
it? Okay,
I
that's
have
what y'all
no
want.
idea.
And you laughing? What's so funny? What's so funny? What's so funny? What's so funny? Okay, we can leave, but what's so funny though?
It's funny.
You
Hey, don't
no,
Get people arrested right now.
No, ain't
There's no
nobody
reason to get. What happened?
That's why we gotta leave.
Talking.
That's
So
why we gotta leave.
the
For what?
hotel wants to evict everybody because of some argument or some fight that happened before we got here.
Okay.
Okay, why
For some
would I leave
reason,
that?
she
Since I
started
got here,
to yell
there's
and
nothing but
stuff.
convenience and
Ma'am,
convenience.
listen, if you raise your voice to me, you will go to jail.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Because I have a right.
Okay.
I have a right.
You're
Yes,
right.
I do.
You don't
Yes, I
right now. Yeah, I know. I understand. So basically, everybody's got to get evicted. They have nothing to do with us. That's the hotel. That's all.
She's complaining about now is how would they go about
I'll get her money. Yeah. So she's got to call corporate office. That has nothing to do with the police department.
get the number for it?
Yeah, I'll get you. I think they've got like a manager card or something.
included. Because when they tell us about the pool, when I asked them about the pool, they got mad. Like, what's
Give me contact on the corporate to the manager. That's all you get it.
Well, I'll get it for you on the way out. If you stay with me towards the end, and I'll hand it to you. Yeah.
Hello, people coming in.
Yeah. I mean, she's just getting to the point that people should go to jail. I don't want to do that. I just want to go to jail. Right. I would appreciate that.
They just came for a pool party, man. They didn't have no permission to tell her that's what we did. This is why.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, she irritated, but she took her money to come up here, and now.
Hey guys.
No, I
Welcome. Buddy from AJ's one. AJ's channel just came here. Just set this up spur of the moment. If anybody wants to join in on the panel, they're welcome to. It's the first comment in the thing if someone wants to join the StreamYard link. And we will get started. This B-dub one looks like chaos. We're going to do this parents go nuts during traffic stop.
Did he push? Did he push you or something?
Actually, no, we're going to do this.
Specific phenomenon. You've seen it. You might even be living through it right now. It's the I'm ready now phase. You meet a woman, she's 34, 36, maybe 38. She's had her fun, she's traveled, she's found herself through a decade of casual encounters and low
Found herself means she found a lot of cock along the way. Any woman who's traveled a lot like that, it's dick, all around the world. All colors, all flavors, everything like that. So this video is called What Happens to a Promiscuous Woman After 35?
commitment flings. And suddenly, like a light switch was flipped, she is the most marriage-minded, family-oriented person you've ever met. She's ready to settle
Because she's desperate. Time is running out. She didn't actually want it.
Down. She's ready for the house, the dog, and the picket fence. But here is the uncomfortable truth that a lot of women don't want to admit, and a lot of men are too afraid to voice.
Brent,
Readiness is not the same thing
your
as
devices are not
transformation.
connected. Try reconnecting
Just because
them.
a woman is ready to occupy the role
I'll
of a
put the,
wife doesn't mean
post
she has
the,
become the
link
woman
again.
who can actually sustain that role.
You're
Or more
welcome to join.
importantly, that she is choosing you out of a genuine burning desire. If you're a man sitting
The only thing burning is their crotch. Oh!
across from a woman in this phase, you have to ask yourself a very difficult question. Are you being chosen because of who you are? Or are you being settled for because of what time it is?
Try it again.
Let's talk about the
Try it
biology
again.
first.
Try it again.
We can pretend
Sometimes it
it doesn't
happens.
matter all we want, but nature doesn't care about our social progress. There is a specific day for many women in their mid-30s. I call it the doctor day. You go in for a routine checkup, and for the first time, the tone changes. The doctor stops asking if you're using protection and starts asking if you've considered freezing your eggs. They start using words like geriatric
Pregnancy, guys. This is a big deal for a lot of stuff. Hey, Keyshawn. Hey, Mark. Hey, Brent. You can try joining again, Brent. So when they start using words like geriatric pregnancy, that's when they want the simp or the conservative guy or the guy they weren't really attracted to come in. And they hot potato the problem onto you. Now all of a sudden they need a kid right away. So just any guy will do. Just any guy will do it. I just got to get this baby. I got to get this baby going. I realized I kind of messed up my life. I wasn't fulfilling part of my purpose as a woman, basically. And the eggs are starting to rot. And they're starting to realize it might be a Easter Seals kid. Yeah. So I don't think that really crosses their mind. I don't think they would mind it if the kid had autism or whatever it may be. But it's really a woman's biggest responsibility to stay on top of that. And you know what I mean? It also shows you that they didn't want to put the child first. They wanted themselves first. The child is an after effect, basically. So it wasn't truly about having the kid.
pregnancy.
It was having it. Most women who know they want a kid know they want it when they're young.
And plus, on top of that, you got to think of it from this perspective as well. That is literally the only thing that they can do that a man can't do, and they're failing at to do. The one competitive advantage they have, they're failing at.
Yeah. And they get all the help and support they generally want. People, usually family. It's a little easier when you're younger. You have more energy, and your family's more wants to help you, and you're more like, oh, it's the pregnant girl in town. She's young, but she's pregnant. Some people like stuff like that. Actually, they think it's kind of quaint or whatever like that. So, but they make this your problem. They make it if you're just the new guy, then they make this your problem. And that's not good because, it doesn't mean they desired to be with you. You're just a box ticker
Because
and you're
now,
a box filler too.
Because now they know their value and they're dating with intention and purpose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You probably heard
Yeah.
that once or twice.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And this almost happened
It's
to
a
me
cold,
once.
hard slap in the face. For 10 or 15 years, you felt like time was infinite. You felt like you could always push the family button later. But suddenly, you're looking at a countdown clock that is ticking loudly in a very quiet room. This triggers a biological panic. It's not an emotional shift, it's a survival shift. The urgency you see in a woman after 35 isn't always a sudden realization of love.
It's usually never that. It may only be like that if she's been with the guy for 5 years or something, and she starts to realize, I should have a kid now. Now I really love you. I'm going to commit to you. If it's just you just meet the guy. This has happened to me a lot of times, where I've met a girl and they thought I was a good guy and all that, and they start talking about kids, and it's like, I haven't even dated you a year. So it's a problem for the man, because like, how am I going to vet you and be with you for a while to see what you're like through, you know, all 4 seasons and whatnot, and see your character and everything before I just, you know, do the biggest decision of my life. It's actually the biggest decision either each human being can make, but the woman, as soon as she gets what she wants, she gets that, she completes her like biological mission. So then she can just toss you to the side.
And Snowboard, my sister is still upset with you about that you're not making up your mind. So she's still mad at you about that.
Yeah.
It's the realization that the window for her biological legacy is slamming shut.
It's not the realization, it's the panic.
Isn't looking for a soulmate anymore. She's looking for a teammate before the game ends. And while that biological clock is ticking, the dating market,
the only teammate she had is getting tag teamed the whole goddamn time. Now she wants a kid.
Is shifting underneath her feet. This is the part that's brutal to experience. When you're 22, 25, even 28, the attention is constant. It's like air. You don't even think about it because it's always there. Men are constantly vying for your time. You have the luxury.
This is what men go in their own way stops feeding that attention so much, so they don't take it for granted. Because I have a good analogy. There's 2 fish swimming in the ocean, 2 younger fish swimming in the ocean, and they go swim past an older fish, and he says, hey guys, or hey boys, how's the water? They don't say anything, they just swim by. One fish looks at the other one and says, what the hell is water? That's attention to these women. They don't understand. Well, they do a little bit, but they don't appreciate the gravity of what they had. They had probably hundreds of guys that would have made a guy who was just fine, and they can mold together. The women can mold the man. You have to mold, you know, together, but you can't mold an old moldy twat.
Of being picked, of being dismissive, of ghosting a perfectly good guy because he didn't give you enough sparks.
And the sparks or butterflies is usually a toxic trait. It's nug, it's a rapper, it's a drug addict, it's you know, the guy who drives his car too fast or has a motorcycle. Like those things don't last long, and they're kind of fake. You know, it's half the reason a lot of guys get tattoos and stuff like that is to get chicks like that. So it's not an actual like really great quality in somebody.
Plus, also these chicks, I say it all the time, they think men are like video games. You know, you can always put a quarter in and get 3 more lives, and so they never. It's musical chairs. And they never think the music will stop. And if it does, they always think they'll always have a seat at the table.
Well, yeah, but in their younger life, it was musical chairs, but they flipped the chair over and they sat on all 4 posts.
Well, I was gonna say one for each hole.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man.
Butterflies. But go into a bar or jump on an app at 37 and you'll notice a silence you've never heard before. The men who once chased you, the high value established men you now feel you deserve, they aren't looking at you. They're looking at the 26-year-olds. Why wouldn't they?
Even younger than that.
They have the resources and they want the same thing you suddenly want, a family and a future with the lowest biological risk.
The lowest biological risk. Guys, this is huge. This is your bloodline. This is your genetics. This is your money. This is your, if you want your kid to, I don't know, play hockey or be good at something or things like that. It's a big deal. It's your, you know, your genetic legacy. If that's something that's really important to you, you're going to want the younger, healthier girl, maybe one that didn't take the shot, maybe eats vegetarian or something like that. Like a lot of those things really add up. If you're just getting some 304 who's, you know, ripping cigarettes and getting high on weed all day, I don't know. Doesn't mean they're a bad person or their genes are cooked or something like that. But a lot of these girls really party. They're really going hard on makeup, pharmaceutical drugs of all sorts, lack of sleep, getting railed out constantly, bad credit, high stress. All those things, you know, age the body, age the eggs. You know, you want a woman who's like, you know, a nurturer, I guess. She nurtured her. If she doesn't nurture herself, she's not going to nurture you. She's not going to nurture a kid. So she lives a very vacuous, materialistic life. She, you know, you can't just, you can turn back the clock a little bit and start doing a lot of healthy stuff, but like, you know, it's more important for a woman because a woman is carrying the baby. Yeah, the man gives the information, but the woman has to carry it longer and, you know, tit feed it and everything longer. So it's this biological risk, genetic risk, you know, it's a big deal. Does their family have a history of mental illness or, I don't know, ALS, things like that? That's part of your responsibility to look into that too, and vet women. If you're into kids, you got to vet women in that way too. Do a 23andMe, do a 304andMe search on them. You know, do that. If you want kids, do a 23andMe search on her. Do it.
The options narrow quietly. It's not like a big explosion. It's just a slow evaporation. And in that silence, those nice, stable men, the ones she used to call boring or friends, suddenly start to look like the most attractive thing on the planet. But you have to ask, did her taste in men actually change? Or did her options just run out? If the boring guy is suddenly the perfect guy, is it because she finally values his stability, or because he's the only one left who is willing to provide it? Now, we have to talk about the psychological toll of a promiscuous past.
Yep.
This isn't about morality. I'm not here to...
How many times have you guys heard me say, these 304s don't change, only their circumstances?
Yes.
And so...
yeah. You can't really undo a lot. Like, it's especially if you've known that she was a 304 in the past, that's going to always sit in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? If you're going downtown to the local restaurant, you know, and every time you're talking to some dude, the dude has railed her out over the past. You're not going to feel good about that. You know what I mean? So you really got to look into a lot of this stuff. Like, you know, another red flag, was she in a sorority?
Yep.
You know, has she been to a lot of countries? Has she been to Burning Man or a lot of these festivals and stuff like that? That means they're doing drugs and getting railed out by a ton of different dudes. And that carries baggage. When we, you know, sometimes when we bang people, we take like a piece of them with us.
Yeah, you out here kissing her and tasting snowboard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm a salty MRFer. Take my saline.
Judge anyone's body count. I'm talking about brain chemistry and emotional bonding. When a woman spends a decade engaging in casual sex, she is essentially training her brain to pair bond and then break that bond over and over again. After a while, a numbness sets in. You lose the ability to be truly wowed by a man. You start to compare every new partner to the best parts of the 20 men who came before him.
Yeah, and 20 is even probably a low number. Yeah. So that's another thing. You're fighting a losing battle because, you know, there's one guy who was the funny guy, one guy who had the biggest ding-a-ling, one guy who, you know, ate her out like crazy. One guy had the coolest car. One guy had more money. So it's always going to be compared against what her previous life was. And it's very difficult for one guy to be better than you know, in every aspect, better than the 20 other ones. And don't forget that she hello Brent. Don't forget that, you know, she's always going to compare you to that. So and you always have to up your game to be on top of that. So I think with men, I don't think we quite compare women the same way in the past. Do we say, oh, this one gave better brain and stuff like that, or had, you know, a couple other things? Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think we quite hold that against them. Women view it like they've accumulated that, so they deserve it as the baseline in the future. Because for a while, when they're hot, they can kind of get that a little bit, but they're not realistic in the long run when it's going to count.
Like my favorite monologue: Chad, Tyrone, Pookie, Ray Ray, them two girls that one semester in college. Him, her, bodies. That's decent.
Yeah, yeah. Moto Prospector: the risk of autism and Down syndrome from an old 304 is not worth your future. Yeah, it's not. Because remember, a lot of times so here's another thing too. If a woman was a 304, she has had access to cheaper, if not free, drugs and alcohol for a lot longer in her life, also earlier than you probably did. You know, so she was able to, you know, try different things, experiment. That's how she got into the threesomes and stuff, because, you know, she was taking ecstasy at a party because it was for free. It just kind of happened. Like, it doesn't just happen for me. I had to go buy it and set everything up. You know, so a lot of those, I don't think they have a genetic like the alcohol and stuff does, but a lot of those psychedelic drugs and everything, they could really cook your mind and stuff. And they have effects later down the line that make them paranoid, make them insecure, make them, you know, that's where a ton of the anxiety comes from, because they're hitting these dab pens and everything, and they're so high they don't know how to function.
This guy has the stability of Dave, but he doesn't have the excitement of Mark, and he isn't as funny as Chris. She ends up with what I call comparison disease. It makes it incredibly difficult to bond deeply with a husband because she's always looking for the phantom limbs of her past. When she finally says yes to a commitment at 38, it's often a logical
the
decision,
phantom cocks.
Oh yeah. She wants one that's like a whole like.
Gonna say,
Go ahead, Brent.
The ghost of Dick's head.
Yeah.
I said the ghost of Dick's head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Passionate one. She's checking boxes. He's kind, he's stable, he'll be a good father. But the raw, unadulterated desire, the kind she gave away for free to the guys who didn't even know her last name in her 20s, that's often gone. There can be a deep, hidden resentment in these marriages. She resents him because he's the solution to her timeline.
And he did nothing wrong.
Not the man of her dreams, and he senses it. He feels like a utility, not a desired man. He's the guy who pays for the wedding and the mortgage, but he's getting a version of her that is emotionally exhausted. You see, there's a massive difference between early commitment and late urgency. When a woman commits in her early 20s, she's usually doing it because she can't imagine her life without that man. It's desire-driven. When she does it at 36 after a wild decade, it's necessity-driven. She needs a landing strip because
she has a landing strip bush. Oh!
she's running out of fuel. In her mind, she thinks she's being strategic.
And also this, she thinks she's being strategic.
In her mind,
what does that mean, guys? That means she's using you as a pawn.
Yep.
That's what she means. She's using you as a pawn. And, you know, that's never good. You want to be the king on the chessboard, not the pawn. And all through her 20s, she was using guys as a pawn. She either used them as a pawn or a bishop. Do you guys want to know why? Because those are the only ones she could fit in her butt without hurting herself. You can't fit a king up there. It's too sharp. It's got too much sharp edges. And she was using the black ones too. So they didn't get brown.
The BBC.
Yeah.
She thinks she's being strategic. She thinks she's
And she is being strategic and kind of doing what she needs to do. She is looking out for her best interest. So if she has to use a man like a pawn, she's been doing that already. So don't be surprised when it's later in life.
positioning herself. You'll see behavioral patterns emerge, sudden performative femininity. She'll start cooking, talking about how much she loves traditional values, and becoming very defensive about her past. If you ask about her history, she'll call you insecure or tell you that the past doesn't matter. But it does matter, because she is giving you a different version of herself than she gave the world. She gave the world her youth, her spontaneity, and her peak beauty for nothing. And she's asking you to pay the highest price, commitment, resources, and your name for her ready now phase. I've seen women who truly
Look at, they made the guy like getting cooked. They're on fire.
change. It happens, but it requires a level of radical accountability that most people aren't capable of. A woman who has changed doesn't pressure a man into a timeline. She
Yeah. That's huge, guys. That's huge. Don't let a woman pressure you into anything like that. You know what I mean? Don't let them their poor planning is not your problem to solve.
Yeah, piss poor planning and preparation on your part does not create a sense of urgency on mine.
Yeah, yeah. The only preparation she knows about is preparation H, and you guys don't want that.
But you know something, the thing that is so ironic and just so crazy about this is, so I tend to look at so many things in life as an investment, and what's my return on that investment. And the fact that these chicks had the audacity to say that now that I'm older and I know what I want and this and that, I know who I am, I know I deserve and everything like that. So now that you older, got more baggage, more bodies, more mileage, more drama, more trauma, you want me to pay Mercedes prices for a Ford Pinto. Get the F out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
and here's the thing, and I used to have these arguments with chicks, like be snatch, get the F out of here. But now I give them the 1,000. You know what's it called? What do these chicks have? The 1,000 cock stare.
Yeah.
I look at them like, you know, the 1,000 delusional chick stare, in which the same dead eyes and SSI and the SSR eyes. I give them the same thing when they start talking this craziness and foolishness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, women, you know, when it comes to having a kid and stuff in your life, it's really a commodity. Oh,
doesn't hide from her past. She owns the consequences of it. She is patient. She understands that she has to earn the trust of a good man because she spent years being untrustworthy with her own heart. Most women, however,
again, not your problem, not your fault.
Exactly.
You already have all that worked out. You don't need to help her work through her issues. That's a her thing.
Look, this is my thing. You let Keyshawn Jones F for free, and now you want
exactly.
Get the F out of here.
Yeah, I don't want Keyshawn's chocolate syrup all up in there.
Reposition. They move the goalpost.
Take you out to dinner and buy you flowers and candies and all the other stuff and call you, and now you want me to do all that?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Which internally for you as a man, it's demeaning knowing that in the back of your mind. There's nothing wrong with doing those things for a woman and stuff that you like, but it becomes a little demeaning and builds resentment in a sense that you're not trying to build the resentment, but the resentment gets built because, you know, you'll go out on the town and you'll see some bartender or something there that railed her a whole bunch of times, for nothing. And you're there like, oh, can I, buy you dinner and pick you up and do all this stuff? And she's, you know what I mean? Like they're going to try to say they're going to wait till marriage and stuff. It's like, you should have done that before. So again, not your problem, guys, not your problem to try to clean it up. And it's tempting. Some of these women, once they put the act on and start acting feminine and stuff, you can be like, wow, she really did change and stuff like that. But she's only going to change enough till you put a hot one in her. And she'll stay that way for a little bit because the family will be watching. And they're going to say, wow, Sarah really softened, and she's just going to be a mom. And that's great. It's probably not. Or she does just become a mom. It becomes a fat pig minivan, grouchy old bitch.
But you just hit the nail on the head right there, Snowboard. You hit the nail on the head right there. Guys, never, ever be a chick's backup plan. If I'm not a first round draft pick, I once said to this chick, I was once, and this is back, and we're talking like 25 years ago. I was dealing with this chick. She was the director of student housing, or the assistant director of student housing at a major university.
Oh, so she's around 304s constantly.
Well, yeah. And so, long story short, what I didn't know, and so I ended up hooking up with her. And what I didn't know was that she was dealing with a sidewalk pharmaceutical sales rep. And as I'm coming out of her house after digging her down, he's out there, and okay, I just got in my car and just kept it moving. And this chick had the audacity to like struggle between it. And I'm like, you need to choose between him and me. Choose him. Never be a chick backup plan if you're not a first round draft pick, because this is what these chicks will do. They will get with you and they will extract max value from you and just drain you. And then because you are the one she settled for, because that's what you are, you're the one she settled for. And she's going to resent that. And opportunity, she's going to plan her exit strategy and extract the most from you coming out of that. And so it's until, some states you need to be like 2 years to start getting alimony. Some states it's 5 years. Some states it's 7 years. She's gonna be planning her exit strategy to extract the most value out of you.
Is the perfect amount. If you have a kid, the kid starts to kind of become a toddler, and then she's kind of ready to maybe get back to work, and you know what I mean. She's getting a little antsy from just being around the house all the time, and the body is starting to recover and look better, get in better shape and stuff like that. So, it's a way that they can kind of have both things. But again, they'll use you as a pawn. They'll use you. In that sense, without a second thought. And by the way, they're not necessarily wrong for doing that. Like, what else are they going to do? That's that's what we need to understand. That's their nature.
Exactly, and that's the other rub there. At the end of the day, it's in their nature. What I always say: don't hate the player, don't hate the game, play it better. We have these conversations so that guys. So the reason why I'm the way I am, I just didn't wake up like this. I wasn't taught this, born this way, or anything like that. You're talking 50 years of out here being in these streets, dating, making mistakes, pattern recognition. And now, think about it. Those of us that are older, when someone tells you something, you already know how it's going to play out. Not because you're psychic or, Negrodamus. No, you've just seen it so many times. You already know how this is play out. And that's why we have this. Guys, this is professionals, as one of my mentors used to always say, Dan Duran used to always say, professionals practice off the field. This is us running tape. We're here getting tape on these chicks. So we know what their tells are. We know if they're going to do a rush pass or anything. This is us getting our reps in. getting the practice in, because we're not going to wait until game day and just wing it.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta understand how they move and everything, and an elephant moves what an elephant does, what an elephant does, a snake does what a snake does, a 304 does what the 304 does, a woman who's turning 35 does what a woman who's turning 35 does, and that's basically like what this is about. Because 35 is, 30 they start getting scared, but they're so gaslit and they can still feel younger and appear younger. But once they, start hitting that wall, it becomes a panic. And then you have to try to solve that for them. That's what they're going to try to do.
They try to rebrand themselves for the marriage market. Men, I want to speak to you directly for a second. You need to listen to your intuition. If you feel like you're being interviewed for a job rather than being pursued as a man, you probably are. If the timeline feels rushed, if she's talking about kids on the third date, that's not love. That's a woman trying to beat the clock. Don't let your own loneliness or your desire to be a provider blind you to the reality of the situation. You deserve to be someone's first choice, not their last resort.
What did I just say?
A woman whose eyes light up when you walk into the room, not a woman who looks at you and sees a 401k and a sperm donor. The I'm ready now phase is often just a graceful way of saying, I'm tired of being alone.
And another thing too, is that oftentimes they get out of college, they had their fun in college, but they get their social worker job or their corporate marketing job for about 2 to 3 years. They realize it's kind of hell, and they want to get knocked up to get out of that game. And they'll do a lot to get out of that rat race. So that's another thing that's not necessarily, it's hitting a wall in the work world, I guess, or something like that. So it's a way that they can get out and like, oh, I just want to like be a stay-at-home mom and stuff now. It's like, well, you just spent the past 15 years trying to be Miss Independent and all this, and you could only stick it out like 3 years. So now they see you as a way to get out of it. They're like, oh, I can't work there anymore. I'm having a baby and stuff. I got to take care of my baby. So I had to put my career on hold. It's like, yeah, it's the career you didn't really like anyways.
And guys, if you feel the need to be a provider or a protector, then you
get animals.
Volunteer at a animal shelter. I used to, be a part of Eagle Scouts, or Boys Club of America. Help coach a minor league team, or a baseball team, or a soccer team, whatever the case may be, or better yet, support, snowboard, support AJ, smash the like button, support us, support this community, and support the men in here being better. This is how we raise the standard. There's a saying that a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. Let's bring each other up. And so, yeah, if you want to be a provider, protector, provide and protect young men, provide and protect content creators like Snowboard, who's trying to get out here and get the word up. This is how we change the game. If you feel as though the game is unfair and it's rigged, then let's not play it. Let's create our own game and make them play according to our rules. At least that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, this is about self-preservation, but if men don't prioritize self-preservation, society begins to collapse in a way, and that's, or not collapse per se, but kind of goes down the drain. That's what we've been seeing for a while.
Oh, we're going to have this conversation another time, because you're right. No. We're going to have this conversation up. Society was not built for what's coming. When 2030, 2035 come, we're going to explore this conversation another time, because what's coming, it wasn't built for men. So we were suckered into this unfair contracting agreement. We were raised to be providers, protectors, provisioners. We were raised to believe that we're supposed to take care of women, family, communities, and everything like that. Like I said, if someone tosses a grenade, we throw our body on it. Well, now more and more men are saying, wait, hold on. You want me to play by rules that doesn't benefit me? You want me to play by rules that the other side doesn't adhere to? You want to hold me to a code of conduct and a set of standards, but not the other party? Oh, hell no. And as more and more men start realizing this, society wasn't built based on this. And what these women don't realize is when government can't get what they want and need from us, they're going to get it from them. As more and more men walk away from, the job market, as more and more men, say, look, I'll just get a place with me and my 2-3 homies, and we're good. Look, I'm going to hang out in, I'm going to hang out with Seagrip and get a couple of big booty Latinas and a nice frosty drink.
Yeah.
The more and more we do this, the more that women don't realize that they're going to be the ones having to carry the tax burden, that's going to have to carry the infrastructure burden. Yeah, there's going to be a rude awakening. We're going to have this conversation another time, and I'm going to shut up now.
Survival strategy. I'm not saying this to make you hate women. I love women. I want women to be happy, but I want us to live in reality. We've sold women a lie that they can behave like men for 15 years and then just pivot into a traditional life without any emotional or biological consequences.
And they got to train a little bit to be that way too. They have to, practice to be that way.
It's a lie that ruins lives, both women's and the men they eventually settle for. The truth is, you can't get back what you gave away. And you can't expect a man to value what you didn't value yourself. So choose reality over the fantasy. If you're a man in this position, look at the consistency of her life, not the performance of her present. And if you're a woman reading this, stop lying to yourself. You aren't ready now because you've reached some higher state of consciousness. You're ready because you're scared. Start from that truth and maybe you can build something real. But if you start from a lie, you're just building a prison for two. I want to know your thoughts. Have you seen this I'm ready now phase play out in your own life? Have you dated the woman who suddenly decided she was traditional the moment her options narrowed? Or did you see the signs and walk away? Leave a comment below. If you've lived through this, write encountered. If you saw it coming and kept moving, write avoided.
Yeah, I've had to, I almost fell into the trap. And in fact, they'll baby trap you. So she was trying to actually fool around without any protection and stuff like that, and was emptying the condoms and trying to put them inside of her and stuff. So this can really happen, guys, as think about this. It can be the biggest mistake of their life. So they're willing to break some rules to not feel that way the rest of their life. So, just be aware of it.
You need to start telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Subscribe if you want the truth, even when it doesn't feel good, because comfort is a luxury, but the truth is a necessity.
Yeah. And we'll go to this tab. This is called the trap of the high value woman. Every restaurant serves water.
Quiet, sun-drenched corner of a hotel lobby in Midtown. She was 38, polished in a way that suggested both high maintenance and high discipline, the kind of woman who commands a room before she even speaks. Her suit was tailored perfectly. Her watch was a discreet signal of a 6-figure bonus. She had spent the last 15 years building a fortress of professional accomplishments, scaling the walls of a male-dominated industry with a grace that few possess. But as she leaned over her untouched, sparkling water, the composure flickered. Her eyes, usually sharp and analytical, were clouded with a specific kind of exhaustion, the kind that comes from winning every battle but losing the war. "I don't understand," she said, her voice dropping to a low, frustrated vibration. I bring so much to the table. I'm financially independent. I'm fit. I'm well traveled. I can hold a conversation with his CEO.
Again, well traveled means she's banged out. It just does.
And I don't need a dime from him. Yet he's drifting. He's choosing less. I look at the women these men end up with, and I see mediocrity. Why am I, a high-value woman, struggling to secure the commitment of a man who is supposed to be my peer? Why do they feel intimidated by me? I looked at her, and I saw myself 20 years.
We're not intimidated by women. Sometimes they're just a unapproachable, miserable bitch.
Ago, I saw the same tilt of the chin, the same ledger-based approach to love, the same bewilderment that a resume doesn't translate into a romantic bond. I remember believing, with the fierce conviction of the young and successful, that being exceptional in the world of commerce and intellect automatically guaranteed devotion in the world of the heart. I thought that if I piled up enough trophies, enough value, as the world defines it, a man of equal stature would see me as the only logical choice. I was wrong. It took a divorce, a long period of painful introspection, and a second, much more grounded marriage to realize that the high value trap is one of the most sophisticated psychological illusions of our time. It's a trick of perspective, where we assume that what we value in ourselves and what the marketplace rewards is exactly what a partner craves in the sanctuary of a relationship. We treat love like a merger, and then we wonder why the board of directors is silent. The reality is that the term high value is often used as a shield. It's a way to quantify our worth so that we never have to feel vulnerable. But in the quiet hours of a long-term partnership, your tax bracket doesn't provide warmth. And you're
sorry, I was muted. I was muted because I was eating my dinner at the same time. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, let me go back to what I was saying. Dante's Inferno says, well traveled equals ran through more times than the Amtrak tunnel. There's a correlation between the more a woman has traveled, the more trains she's been on, the more trains she's been in. Okay. When a woman travels, it's not inherently bad. She's going to use her, you know, she's not necessarily bad for using her big tits and stuff to get free drinks, to get, you know, dinners, obviously, you know, if they go to a new place, what do they say? First thing they say, oh, I need a tour guide here. So they go to a new city or something like that. So what does that mean? They get a guy who takes them out, shows them something cool, whether, I don't know, it's rock climbing or the local cool thing that they do in that area, whatever that is. And then, you know, like here's the sign that, you know, this is a perfect red flag that women try to say is makes them seem like cultured or kind of cool or like a rugged individual. There comes a point in a 304's life where she dates a guy who has a small airplane, and they get to go in Alaska and all this stuff, and you know, they're in the little Cessna plane, and she's probably giving him, you know, Airhead or Mile High Club type stuff. They've done all this, guys. They've got to live on easy mode with it. So, but they're not necessarily wrong for that. You just need to understand, like, that's just how nature works. You know what I mean? Like, so just, you know, you just have to be aware of it. You can't really be bitter of it and blame them too much. You can a little bit, but you know, it's hard to say no to that stuff.
Professional titles don't offer peace. I had to learn that the very qualities
Yeah,
that
if they're
made
going
me
to
a
Dubai,
lioness in the
just
boardroom
walk away.
were the ones making me a stranger in my own home. I had to confront the pride that told me I was above the basic, messy, tender work of being a partner. We have to start by deconstructing the illusion of self-defined value. In any other area of life, we understand a simple economic truth. Value is determined by the receiver, not the provider. You can spend 10 years hand carving a marble sculpture, but if the person standing in front of you is thirsty, that sculpture is worth less to them than a glass of water. Many successful women today are marketing a product that the customer, in this case, high-achieving, high-status men, is not looking to buy. We project
And they do not age like fine wine. They age like rotten yogurt.
Our own desires onto men. We want a man who is powerful, wealthy, and prestigious because those things signal security and competence to us. Naturally, we assume that if we acquire those same traits, we will become more attractive to those men. It's a logical projection error. But high-status men, for the most part, are not looking for a reflection of their own professional lives. They aren't looking for a business partner in the bedroom. They are looking for the things their high-stakes, high-stress lives lack: softness, loyalty, emotional safety, and a cooperative spirit. When a woman says, "I bring a lot to the table," she is usually referring to her external assets. But for a man who already has his own table, his own house,
And some of them are the size of a table.
and his own success, those assets are redundant. They are nice to have.
And you know what else a table has? Whore legs. Oh!
And look, and some of them are built like a house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not need to haves. He isn't intimidated by her success. He is often just indifferent to it because it doesn't solve his primary emotional problems. It doesn't lower his cortisol. In many cases, if that success comes wrapped in an armor of defensive pride or a "don't need you" attitude, it actually increases his stress. This brings us to the three things that high-status men actually prioritize, and it's here where the disconnect becomes a chasm. First,
What do you think? Put in the chat a couple ideas what you think this is going to be. I guess I'm going to say peace or serenity, someone who, you know, makes you calm, and put down some other ones. Equilibrium, built like a brick shit house. Yeah, some guys like that. You know, a nurturer is a good one. Someone who wants to be led. Someone who's kind of like a helpmate is it's really powerful. If you get a woman, so there is a little bit of truth to saying behind every great man, there's a woman supporting him or whatever that is. Some of that is true, but that's so rare now. It's really so rare.
There is sexual chemistry, which is the baseline. Second, there is the desire for children and legacy, a biological pull that doesn't care about your promotion. But the third, and perhaps most overlooked in the modern
Exactly. I want to go back to that.
And
Doesn't
there is
care
the
about your
desire for
promotion.
children and legacy, a biological pull that doesn't care about
This is big. This is actually very important. This is very important and underrated in our society. We in America, especially American women, are vapid, status obsessed, material world, materialism success obsessed, money obsessed, consumers. Okay. Really, a lot of the value that a man or woman can bring is things outside of that. Are they able to actually be broke and be okay? You know, do they need to have the best Gucci bag? Do they need to take 2 vacations a year? Do they need to have the best car? A lot of those things, if you're going to have kids, are very important to have those soft skills, those that's what I'm saying about this promotion thing here. It's not always just about, just make more money. How about sometimes get that promotion means you just simp at your company. At home, you don't simp to me, but at work, you simp to your boss and simp to your company, and you're a corporate whore, so I can get the BMW. We need and a lot of men do that because that's what women want. So men are doing what women want and all that. But there's other, softer strengths, I guess, that women don't quite value that they should value, because that's often what makes a better dad. Do you really want the dad who's just the rich guy or works all the time? Or maybe the dad that has a little bit of less money, but he'll take time with you to show you things, teach you things, make you laugh, and kind of be like a buddy. Sometimes that's more powerful than the money ever can be. And we don't women don't really value that sometimes. They just value the guy who does make the money. But that guy sometimes will just have a soul-sucking job, so he doesn't have any more love to give or energy to give when he gets home, because the corporate world is pretty cutthroat.
about your promotion. But the third, and perhaps most overlooked,
But that's something women should be. That's a trait women need to pick, because then that would make it more valuable in men.
in the modern era, is emotional peace. A man who spends 10 to 12 hours a day in a high-performance environment, navigating office politics, managing risk, making decisions that affect hundreds
Taking risks, not managing risk too. Taking risk. Taking physical risk.
of lives, is mentally and spiritually taxed. When he closes his front door, he is looking for a sanctuary. He is looking for a partner who makes his life easier, not more complicated. If he returns home to a woman who is also in executive mode, who wants to debate every minor detail, who views cooperation as a form of submission, and who brings the same competitive energy to the dinner table that she brings to a deposition, he will eventually withdraw. The high-value woman often falls into the trap of thinking that because she is elite, she is exempt from the minimum standard of emotional service.
Yeah.
This is what I call
That's a big one. That's a big one. So how many times have you seen this? If a chick is hot, she's like, well, I don't really got to do anything else because my hotness makes up for it. And sometimes that will work. Sometimes if, we've all been with a chick that was wicked hot that you did extra things for and sacrificed your own values because she's just so goddamn hot. It makes you act crazy. But they won't know how to cook an egg. They won't know how to do a goddamn thing because they never had to, because they're just so hot that they can get a simp to do it, or they just didn't really have to. They just focus on being hot.
But only in the beginning. And, like I always say, you can show me the hottest chick in the world, and I'll show you a dude who's tired of piping her down.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
some of the most
eventually it
beautiful,
does wear you down because it's soul sucking.
some of the most beautiful women in the world have gotten cheated on by some of the most basic dudes. You can show me the hottest chick in the world, and I'll show you a dude who got tired of screwing her.
Yeah, because that's another thing. They don't even screw good because they just have this lay there.
The every restaurant serves water analogy. Think of the most expensive 5-star restaurant in the world. It has a Michelin-starred chef, hand-painted murals, and a wine cellar worth
Oh, like the Whore Seasons. Oh!
millions. But if you sit down at that table and the waiter refuses to bring you water, or if the glass is dirty, the entire experience is ruined. No amount of truffle-infused luxury can compensate for the failure of a basic service. The high-end nature of the establishment doesn't make it too good to provide the basics. In fact, the higher the status of the restaurant, the more impeccably it is expected to handle the fundamentals. In
Clayton, I
relationships,
think that's the most important
water
thing
is
for me.
basic relational warmth. It's a kind word when he walks through the door. It's the absence of unnecessary conflict. It's showing genuine interest in his burden.
Yeah, yeah. If you have, if you have your own business or high performing job, or you're really pushing hard at work and stuff like that, being able to come home to a peaceful home really helps you succeed in other areas of life. And it's so much better for your physical health and everything. And that's like the number one thing a woman can bring to the table. Why? Because she's not always going to be hot forever, but you're probably going to be working a long time, and you need that. You know what I mean? Like, I wish more chicks were actually kind of funny, because it's like, hey, at least she actually can make me laugh and brighten my day and all that. A lot of times we have such a shallow Instagram view of human beings that we only see the pictures in the gym of what they look like and think that's most of their inherent value. For some women, sometimes it can be because they don't develop some of these other soft skills. Like, women used to be like, they know how to sew shit. So when you rip your pants, they can fix them, or they could be crafty and decorate some stuff, or do some crafty stuff to save us money, make potted plants out of like 5-gallon buckets and shit like that, or vegetable gardens and stuff like that. A lot of these soft skills, feminine skills, any creativity is not there, and sometimes that can be better than a chick that is the hottest chick, because it actually adds value. It actually adds value by you're saving money and eating good, vegetables and stuff that they grew in the garden and everything like that. That used to be stuff that women did. It's gone from slaughtering the chicken to being a chicken head. It really is.
Without trying to fix them with a PowerPoint style critique. It's the willingness to be agreeable, not as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of love. Many women have been conditioned to see agreeableness or nurturing as a form of servitude, a relic of a patriarchal past that they must move beyond. They fear
that's their problem. That's their problem.
That if they are too soft, they will
be their thought paradigm
taken advantage of or lose their hard-won identity. So they withhold the water. They make a point of not doing the small things. They resist the idea of making a meal or offering a massage or simply saying, "I'm so proud of how you handled that."
Yeah, that stuff goes a really long way, guys.
See these acts as low-value labor. But what they don't realize is that for a man who already has everything else, the water is the only thing he actually needs from a woman. He can hire a chef. He can hire
Well, I can give her a couple other things to drink.
A surrogate. He can hire a housekeeper, but he cannot hire the genuine, soft, respectful warmth of a woman who truly sees him and supports his spirit. If a woman refuses to provide that, if she considers herself above it, she becomes a high-end restaurant that doesn't serve water. And eventually the customer will find a place that does, even if that place is less impressive on paper. I remember my first marriage during my power years. I was so terrified of being seen as a traditional housewife that I went to the opposite extreme. I made sure my husband knew I didn't need to cook for him. I made sure he knew my time was just as valuable as his, down to the minute. I kept a mental tally of every chore, every favor, every sacrifice. I thought I was standing up for my worth. In reality, I was killing the intimacy. I was treating my husband like a rival. I was so busy protecting my value that I forgot to be a partner. I was providing high-end credentials, but I was starving him of the basic emotional nutrients he needed to feel connected to me. This pride is a massive psychological block. It's an ego defense mechanism. For many successful women, their career identity is fused with their self-worth. They have been taught that vulnerability is a
And this comes from school. This is school indoctrination, being the teacher's pet, getting accolades from the teacher, the professor, trying to just simply get good grades by just repeating the information they tell you and not really understanding it. That's how a lot of this comes in. See, Tim Hicks. Funny how they choose things they refuse to do, but if a man takes things away, he's evil. Yeah. Moto Prospector. Focus on yourself, men. Slide in, beat up that cervix, and bounce out. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Some of this is just simply these ladies got to just pull themselves up by their IUD strings.
liability. They have been praised
That's modern day bootstrapping for women. They pull themselves up by their IUD strings.
for their sharpness and their strength. When they enter a relationship, they don't know how to turn that off. They fear that if they soften, they will disappear. There is also a deep-seated fear of being replaceable. The more a man has, the more money, status, and options, the more a woman fears that she is just one of many choices. To combat this fear, she tries to make herself irreplaceable by being a high achiever. She thinks he'll never find another woman who earns this much or understands his business this well. But that's a professional tie, not a soul tie. The psychological trap is that the more a man has, the less he needs from a woman in a practical sense. In the past, a man might have needed a wife to manage his household, raise his children, and provide social standing. Today, technology and wealth have outsourced much of that. Cleaning is automated or hired out. Food is an app away. If a woman provides nothing uniquely relational, nothing that touches his heart or calms his mind, she becomes optional. She becomes a luxury item rather than a necessity. And luxury items are the first things people let go of when the maintenance becomes too high. We have to talk about the 50-50 myth. We've been told that modern relationships should be a perfectly equal split of everything. But equal does not mean identical. In a high-stakes relationship, leverage is everything. If both partners are playing the same role, both chasing status, both prioritizing their own careers above the union, both refusing to be the support person, the friction is inevitable. True partnership requires a dance of strengths and weaknesses. It requires someone to lead and someone to follow at different times in different arenas. I've seen women in their late 30s and early 40s realize this too late. They spent their 20s and early 30s building their value, only to find that at 38, the men they want, the men who are their equals, are looking for women who can offer them a family and a peaceful home.
And plus, women are horrible when they have leverage. Never ever let women have leverage over you because they wield power and authority like a sledgehammer.
Not a co-CEO. There is a biological reality to this that no amount of social engineering can change. A woman, her late 30s, is facing a closing window for fertility, which is often a primary motivator for high-status men seeking commitment. If she spends that precious time being difficult or high maintenance because she thinks her career success gives her a pass on basic kindness, she is burning her own life.
Sorry, I was muted. This is what we do see sometimes. Once they get the title, like I'm an ICU nurse, I'm an ER nurse, I'm successful, so therefore I don't have to, I need to be treated so much better. There's no humility. There's no humbleness. These are the facts of social media. People want everyone's got a big head on their shoulders, and no one's afraid to just be say, hey, I'm wrong, I messed up. No one has any humility really anymore. But in this case, we're focusing on women not having it.
Leverage. I've had to admit to myself and to the women I mentor that I used to look down on soft contributions. I used to see the woman who stayed home or who focused on her husband's well-being as lesser. I thought she was weak. I now realize she was actually the one with the most power. Softness is a form of influence that
And she has to do the least amount of work.
no amount of shouting can match. A woman who knows how to create a peaceful, supportive environment for a man has a psychological hold on him that is far deeper than a woman who is constantly challenging him for the alpha spot.
But that's what women want sometimes. They want. How many times have you guys heard a woman say like, I like a challenge. I need a guy who can challenge me and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, because you're not challenging yourself in your own life at your job. You have a easy HR job where you just punch in and punch out, and you don't really do anything. You barely go to the gym and push yourself or things like that. So they want a challenge because they're unfulfilled in other areas of their life. They don't create anything. It's not like they play music or express themselves or anything. Their idea of self-expression is just a selfie, and putting on makeup and watching TikTok. And that's why they're taking a lot of these antidepressant drugs and everything, because they're not being like a fully actualized human being. They're just being a numbed out feminist corporate whore and just regular whore outside of work too.
This isn't about servitude. It's about strategy. It's about understanding what actually creates a bond. Why do men?
So I want to switch gears a little bit to this. So I want you guys to put a 1 in the chat if you heard of the synagogue thing in Michigan yesterday. I started doing a live stream on it, and I stopped at like 9:00 last night. So I did like a 3-hour live stream on it because I was kind of scrolling YouTube, and I believe this is a false flag. I really do. I haven't looked into the story anymore today or anything. I was at work. I didn't look into it, but I kind of want to see what is said here for this and change the gears a little bit. I also want you to notice this Gretchen Whitmore or something. I kind of forget her name. This woman too. Put a 2 in the chat if you remember that she staged a fake FBI kidnapping thing. I think it was at one of the first years of the cough. So she's governor of Michigan. I don't know if she still is. I'm assuming so because she's up here saying this. I think that she. I think this is all going to be nonsense. I really do. So I just kind of want to see what she said, and then we can go back to another topic or something. But I kind of want to follow up on the story because I like to expose propaganda and nonsense when I see it, and I'm going to start doing that more on this channel. Over here, so we just covered a male and female dynamic part of the red pill, but to me, the red pill is also not simping to mainstream media, the common narrative. I don't just let people tell me what to believe and generate fear and nonsense in my life. Which is what a lot of mainstream media does, and I believe that this was a false flag. So I want to see now that they formulated their story. I bet that the story is going to be so. If you're going to go to MSNBC, CNN, ABC, they're going to be reading from the same script. And this woman is probably going to be generating the script. And by the way, this script is given to her. She's a puppet. So let's just see what she says here. By the way, this was the female rabbi. I didn't know they had female rabbis till yesterday, and they have quite a few of them. Also, too, watch their hands if they do any Freemason bullshit.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your leadership yesterday, and how much my heart goes out to everything that you and your family and all the families involved and the Jewish community writ large are going through. I wanted to come today for a brief.
And she's not a good governor. She's trash too. I think she was also governor during the Flint, Michigan water stuff. No one's gone to jail for that. Anything like that.
Which we just concluded to get up to speed on where things stand. I want to thank our state and local law enforcement, the first responders, our federal partners for their swift work to keep people safe and to investigate. I want to thank Temple Israel's security personnel. They were selfless in their courage and they saved lives. These heroes threw themselves in harm's way, engaging the suspect, and let's be very clear. Yes, this is a place of worship, but at the time that this attack was occurred, it was a school. 104 children, age 5 and younger here. So I want to thank all of Temple.
So a double whammy for some type of PSYOP event. They love it.
Israel staff.
By the way, they haven't said anything about the bad guy.
Who acted quickly.
Just the mystery guy.
To evacuate students and reunite families. The state of Michigan will wrap our arms around this community and support our local and federal partners every step of the way to keep people safe. I want to share prayers from my colleague, Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Josh Hall reached out yesterday to check in and see how people are doing. And I want Michigan's Jewish community to know that we are with you. Violence in our houses of worship.
I didn't know this equilibrium. I have seen in some households. It's kind of funny because the guy will be a cutthroat demon businessman, but he'll have some fat pig wife who he just completely simps to. I've seen that quite a few times, and I didn't know that, so it's a good thing to know.
And in our schools and in our daycare centers, like this hits especially hard. Temple Israel is a pillar of the community. It's one of the largest Reformed Jewish congregations in North America, with Friday night Shabbat services attracting over 1,000 people. People celebrate bar and bat mitzvahs, weddings, and holidays here. Parents bring their children to daycare and school, and it's a place of peace, unity, light, and life. Yesterday's attack was anti-Semitism. It was hate, plain and simple. We will fight this ancient and rampant evil. We will stand together as we do it, and we will call it out. We must lower the rhetoric in this state and in this country, especially at this moment where we've seen such a rise in anti-Semitism and more attacks on the Jewish community. We must keep each other close. This community is on the edge, very understandably. We've seen a rise in attacks, especially over the last decade, especially over the last 10 months. And so it is important for us to stand up, to stand against it, and to thank the people who showed up to support the community, but also call out where we see acts of anti-Semitism, where we see threats, where we see something, how important it is to say something. And to recognize that each of us has a responsibility. People like the person that attacked this community yesterday get fomented by rhetoric that they see online and that they see on television and they hear on the radio. It radicalizes people and it endangers our fellow Michiganders. We cannot let this continue. So each of us has a duty to take action where and how we can. And with that, I'll hand it over to Senator Slotkin, and then we'll take a couple of questions.
Thank you, Governor. And just want to reiterate, I think it's clear that if it were not for the private security and the staff at Temple Israel, and then the first responders, first on the scene, local law enforcement, if they had not all done their jobs almost perfectly, we would be talking about an immense tragedy here today with children gone. This could have been much, much worse. So I give incredible credit to law enforcement and the people who were in the room, putting themselves and their own families at risk. I think, you know, the governor said it very, very well on
sorry,
the way
my
this
voice was
community has
muted. Damn
responded.
it.
It's been
Sorry, guys. I was eating my dinner doing this, trying not to like munch on there. Thank you, Equilibrium. Basically, what they're trying to say is, oh, we need to be vigilant. They want you to start ratting if someone says anything about Israel or small hats, whether it's true or not. They want you to start ratting. They protect. You don't have freedom of speech here. Because if you say something about that group, they're the one group who's the most protected and will sue the hell out of you if they can. So just be wary. That's part of the agenda. And by the way, yeah, people are upset with this because, you know, we're over there deleting a lot of people. You know, we are deleting a lot of people for Israel in these places where the people a lot of sand. And they take that serious and they get pissed, you know. So, you know, as of right now, we've deleted way more of them than they've deleted of us, and there's a lot less of them. So, we really need to focus on peace and not worry about, you know, big bad Iran, who they keep telling you is going to nuke you. They're 5 minutes away from nuking you guys. You know what I mean? They've been saying that before I was even born. So that's what these false flags are about. That's why they didn't say too much about the guy, because this guy lost family. So he, you know, he took matters into his own hands. He didn't do it successfully, but, you know, you can't blame him.
incredible.
Or, I see his point, I guess.
To watch neighbors in the community here, both organizations and just regular old citizens open up their homes literally yesterday to help care for people who were fleeing from this. And this is a place that I have a very personal connection to. I feel I've spent a lot of my time growing up in and out of this temple. And I feel just an immense amount of pain, as does the rest of the community, that incidents like this even happen. And I think it's just important to be clear, as the governor said, that whether anti-Semitism is coming from the left or the right, whether it's coming from some group that you like or don't like, you have a responsibility to call it out. Because when you don't, it gives permission for people to climb that escalation, that ladder of escalation that goes from saying hateful things online to saying them in person, to graffiti, to ultimately violence. And the Jewish community suffers 10.
You mean like the violence that we're inflicting on them, kind of like that?
Times the number of hate crimes than any other community in this country. So it is an epidemic. And until we push back on that permission, we're going to see incidents like this continue to proliferate. The Jewish community spends over.
So this is going to be more about censorship, guys. That's the bigger picture here. So they're going to do more of these little false flag things. And, you know, just like, you know, when 9/11 happened, what did they do? I believe it was called the Patriot Act. And then you got to take your shoes off at the airport, and you know you just get less and less rights, less privacy, less rights. So they're gonna say, you know, now when you go to do your next iPhone user agreement or whatnot, they're gonna say, oh well, you know, we're just gonna make sure we look around your phone and make sure that you're not, you know, criticizing any small hats, even if they do something wrong. You know, that's bad. We don't even want you to question anything that they do, because that's bad. Because all these people take the AIPAC money, guys. Remember, that's who they work for. That's who pays their check, really, is the, like, yeah, we pay them through taxes, but not really that much. They get paid through AIPAC money.
$1 billion across the country, securing their houses of worship, their schools, their institutions.
Yep, you got to pay for that. They won't pay for private security. You have to pay for it.
No community in America should be fearful of having their own kind congregate for things like education and worship. So I stand here proud of the community, but angry that we even are put in this position. Thankful to law enforcement.
How about you fix the Flint, Michigan water? How come you're not more embarrassed about your put in that position? Remember all the people who are poisoned, and their kids are going to be poisoned, and their genetics are going to be all messed up? So I think we covered that enough, and we're going to I think I might do a deeper dive into that on my own, and we're going to go to this instead. Get used to disappointing women. Compulsive love is never satisfied.
Most recent data from the American Psychological Association and various sociological studies across the Western world, a very specific and sobering pattern emerges that most people are too uncomfortable to discuss in plain English. For decades now, women have been the ones initiating divorce in about 70% of cases. And when you look at college-educated women, that number climbs closer to 90%.
90%, guys. Jesus.
When you sit with therapists who specialize in high conflict couples or middle-aged disillusionment, they will tell you that the primary complaint they hear from these women isn't about abuse or infidelity or even financial instability. Instead, it's a profound, gnawing sense of unfulfillment. They describe a feeling that their partner is no longer someone they can look up to, or that the relationship has become stale, or that they simply
listen to that. Their partner is someone they can no longer look up to. But you wanted an equal. In order for me to look up at you, I have to be below you. It just makes no sense.
need more. On the other side of that couch, you almost always see a man who is absolutely exhausted. He is a man who has spent 10, 15, or 20 years trying to anticipate her every mood, trying to fix every problem she voiced, and trying to adjust his own personality to be the perfect supportive partner. He has given everything he thought he was supposed to give, yet he is met with a partner who is more dissatisfied than ever. This is the observable reality of the modern romantic landscape. It is a crisis of expectations, and it leads us to a conclusion that sounds harsh, but is actually the most liberating thing a man can hear. Men need to get used to disappointing women. I'm saying this to you as a woman who has seen this play out from both sides.
Let's go back again. Men need to get used to disappointing women.
Actually, the most liberating thing a man can hear. Men need to get used to disappointing women.
And we're not used to saying this. You know, generally, we don't want to disappoint anybody in life. You know, our friends, our family, our neighbors, no matter what gender they are. But women sometimes with this just completely high standard mixed with lack of genuine appreciation makes it, so you can't even get their approval. So, you just got to accept that you're disappointed because when you're disappointing a woman, it used to come with some shame and say like, geez, what can I do better? How can I be better? What did I do wrong? And now those are good things to still ask yourself no matter what. But, when it's everything is so tainted, you have to just, be used to this.
I'm saying this to you.
This is a new thing. This is a new thing.
As a woman who has seen this play out from both sides, as someone who has felt that bottomless hunger for emotional validation, and as someone who has realized how destructive that hunger is when it isn't checked by a partner's firm boundaries. We need to talk about why this happens, not because women are bad or crazy, but because there is a fundamental psychological mechanism at play that most men are never taught to navigate. We have to start with the concept of consumptive love. In our current culture, love is often marketed to women as a form of emotional consumption.
Because they're consumers.
It's the idea that a relationship is a resource meant to provide a constant stream of security.
The base word in Latin is consume whore.
Excitement, validation, and emotional regulation. It is a taking energy, even when it's disguised as sharing. When a woman enters into this mindset, her partner becomes a sort of emotional vending machine. If she feels anxious, it is his job to provide the reassurance. If she feels bored, it is his job to provide the adventure. If she feels insecure, it is his job to build her up. The problem is that this desire, this wanting, is essentially infinite. It costs a woman nothing to want more. It's free to ask for more time, more attention, more verbal affirmation, or more changes to your behavior. But for the man, giving those things has a real tangible cost. It costs his time, his focus, his autonomy, and eventually his identity. The deeper psychological layer here is that many women don't even realize they are doing this. It's a biological and cultural byproduct of seeking safety. If a woman can get a man to move his boundaries
and just being selfish, self-centered, oftentimes women say, they're so bored because they're just used to a man entertaining them or their phone entertaining them. If they have to sit alone in the room for 20 minutes without a phone, they're cooked. So boredom is the devil to them. They can't deal with it. They always need some stimulation. They always need someone from the outside to get them out of the boredom. And that usually has to be a guy. Like, you have to be their form of entertainment constantly. And you got to mix up that entertainment because they get also bored with that.
for her, she feels a temporary surge of power. She thinks, he loves me so much he's willing to change for me. But that surge of power is a trap. Because the moment he changes for her, the moment he cancels his plans with his friends because she looked slightly sad, or the moment he stops pursuing his hobby because she complained it took too much time, he
That's all simping.
loses a piece of the very strength that made her attracted to him in the first
That's simping. That's what she's talking about.
place. You see, a woman's desire is often reactive. She wants to know that her partner is a solid, unmovable force in a chaotic world. If she can bend him, if she can break his resolve with a pout or a guilt trip, she might get what she wanted in the moment.
Or crying.
But she loses the safety of being with a man who knows who he is. This brings us to the scarcity mentality that plagues so many men, especially younger men or men who haven't yet realized their own value. You've been told your whole life that a good man is a man who makes his woman happy.
That's the blue pill traditional way, and that used to work. But this is what you're told. This is what you're told.
The happy wife, happy life mantra is perhaps the most destructive piece of relationship advice ever conceived. It
That's the TradCon view.
teaches men that their primary metric for success is the absence of female displeasure. So, when a woman expresses disappointment, the man panics. He feels a deep primal fear of abandonment. He thinks, if I don't fix this, if I don't give her what she's asking for, she'll leave me and I'll be alone.
And it's a thing that you're trying, instead fix it. If I don't solve
Absence
this,
of female
they're trying to solve it, but it's almost an unsolvable problem. It's just a never ending, evolving weed. It's a poison ivy that just keeps coming.
displeasure. So, when a woman expresses disappointment, the man panics. He feels a deep primal fear of abandonment. He thinks, if I don't fix this, if I don't give her what she's asking for, she'll leave me and I'll be alone. This fear stems from a belief that his options are limited, that he is lucky to have her, and that he must pay a constant emotional tax to keep her in his life. But when you overgive out of fear, you aren't being generous. You're being transactional and defensive. You are trying to buy her staying power with your submission. And the tragedy is that women can sense this. We can smell the desperation in a man who is trying too hard to please us. And frankly, it's a massive turnoff. It signals that you don't have a center. It signals that your emotional state is entirely dependent.
But put yourself first. Put your goals, your hobbies, your stuff first. Make her an addition to that. Don't let put your skills development first.
On ours, which is
It's a hard lesson to learn.
a terrifying burden for a woman to carry.
This takes upkeep because they're going to try different ways to knock you off this center, to mess it up. I don't know why, but they do. That's their entertainment. Their entertainment is trying to fuck with your entertainment.
Why does giving everything kill attraction? It's the paradox of the nice guy syndrome, but explored through a lens of identity erosion. Think about the man she first met. He was a man with a life. He had a mission. He had friends. He had opinions that didn't always align with hers. That independence created a gap between them, a space for desire to flow. Desire requires distance. It requires the knowledge that the other person is a separate entity who cannot be fully possessed or controlled. When a man begins to consummatize himself for the relationship, meaning he folds his entire existence into her
Which means simping.
needs, that distance disappears. He becomes an extension of her. He becomes her yes man, her emotional caretaker, her servant. And you cannot truly desire someone you can control completely. By refusing to disappoint her, by always being available, by always saying yes, you effectively erase the man she fell in love with. You become a predictable, bland utility. You are like a piece of furniture.
So this is a problem because it's a problem inherent with women, because what happens when you're married and you have kids and you're in a routine, you're going to work each day and you do, each Friday night is pizza night and shit like that. They end up resenting the stability that you've given them. and they want the chaos. They want the non-stability. You know, they need shit like that. They need the stress. God forbid they, you know, challenge themselves and, you know, did that a little bit more in their own life. That would take care of that, but it's not really the case. You got to always keep, you know, dangling the carrot in front of them. You know, unfortunately, again, this is difficult to do.
Perhaps
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of, you have to kind of be a puppeteer to them.
even comfortable, but you don't inspire passion. You don't inspire
I don't know if you show all this like autistic weird AI stuff, but the video is actually saying some good stuff.
Let's talk about the safety paradox, because this is where it gets really uncomfortable for both genders.
And by the way, I'll be honest with you guys. That's why some Muslims and the people who have a lot of sand who give them a slap now and then, that takes care of a lot of this. You know, you don't see them complaining about that. So I'm not advocating for that, but I'm saying that, you know, that knocks them off their game a little bit, and they ain't so worried about being bored, are they?
On a surface level, a woman might say she wants a man who listens to everything she says and changes accordingly. But on a deeper, subconscious level, if she can always control the emotional direction of the relationship, she doesn't feel safe. She feels like she's the one driving the bus, and she doesn't want to be the one driving. If your boundaries are made of sand, she will keep kicking them to see if they'll eventually turn into stone. She will test you. She will throw out disappointment as a probe to see if you have a backbone.
She gives you a probe, you just put it right up her own ass.
Oh, you're going out with the guys tonight? I thought we were going to watch a movie. That is a test. If you stay home, you think you've made her happy. You haven't. You've just proven that your word and your personal time are up for negotiation.
She's basically also saying that this is why they like some of that toxic behavior, when they kind of don't give a shit about them, because it keeps them trying to please you and stuff.
You've proven that you are bendable. Now, she's happy for the next 2 hours, but her respect for you has dropped another notch. If you say, I told you on Monday I was going out and I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you when I get back. She might be disappointed. She might even be mad. But as she sits there alone, she is forced to reckon with the fact that you are a man of your word, that you have a life outside of her, and that you are not afraid of her bad mood. That creates a sense of psychological safety. It tells her, if this man can stand up to me, he can.
Which really doesn't make much sense. That's how twisted and ass backwards the woman mind is. It really doesn't make a lot of sense.
To the world. The difference between a mature woman and an immature woman lies entirely in how she handles that disappointment. A mature woman, a woman who has done the work and
which is like not many at all,
wants a healthy partnership, will eventually process her disappointment. She might feel a sting in the moment, but she will reflect and realize, actually, I respect that he has his own life. I'm glad he didn't just cave. She will adjust. She will find her own things to do.
Maybe not, probably not. She just scroll on TikTok and more social media, which is a big part of the problem.
The relationship will maintain its polarity. However, an immature woman or a woman who is addicted to the consumption model of love will punish you for that disappointment. She will use the silent treatment. She will withdraw affection. She will use the talk to guilt trip you, or she will have a full-blown tantrum.
Again, what is think of the Latin roots of these words. Consumption. Consume whore. Okay? Think of it.
This is where men get scared. They see the punishment and they retreat. But this is exactly where you must hold the line. If you cave to the punishment, you are training her to use those tools to control you. You are rewarding the behavior that is killing the relationship.
Which makes no sense, because you're trying to say like, oh, well, she's in a bad mood, so I don't mind staying and watching a movie tonight or doing something like that. You think you're doing something good because if that was one of your male friends, you'd say like, if he was like, hey man, I know we were going to go to the bar tonight, but kind of in a shitty mood or something. You're like, you just want to come over to my house and we'll just shoot pool in my garage or, work on my truck or something like that. I'd say, yeah, sure. No problem, man. Like, that's me being like of service as a friend, of service as a human being. That's not necessarily, you know what I mean? Women, you have to play all these goddamn games. It's really confusing.
If you can identify this early, you save yourself years of misery. If a woman cannot handle being disappointed by a reasonable boundary, she is not looking for a partner. She is looking for a host. There is a psychological truth that we often
Again, host, H-O-E, host.
ignore. Disappointment actually increases attraction, provided it's rooted.
See that? Disappointment actually increases attraction. Why? I have no goddamn idea, really. She's explaining it, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because if I had, I used to think of it like this, because I'm a very service-based person. I have a service-based business, well, 2 businesses actually that are, I'm providing services to people, cutting trees and a couple other things. So like if someone asks me to do something, yeah, I am willing to bend over backward to help, serve the customer. That should be a win-win. It should be like, yeah, when I serve you, I'm providing value. When it comes to women, it's not actually really it's not reciprocal in that way. But they never tell you this. Equilibrium says childlike brains with a very shallow pool of understanding of consequences. This is why they code switch to calling men pedos once they hit the wall. When the earlier years they did the same things. Exactly, yeah. So when they were young, they got to go to the bar with the 40-year-old guy in the Corvette. And be taken out for dinners and all that. But now that they're 40 and they see, their ex who's 40 and he's taken out, a 21-year-old or something like that. Or, she sees the girl that's drinking underage. It's like, well, you were drinking underage and you got to have your fun,
In self-respect. Think about the mystery that people always say is missing in long-term relationships. Mystery isn't about wearing a mask. It's about the fact that you are not a solved puzzle. When you have things.
Mystery is kind of also about playing a game. You know what I mean? Like if I have a guy friend, I'm not just sitting around like, I wonder what he's doing and shit like that. I'll be like, hey man, like, what are you doing?
You do that don't involve her, when you have thoughts you don't immediately share, when you have goals that aren't about her, you remain a separate person. When you disappoint her by prioritizing your fitness, your career, or your internal peace over her immediate whim for attention, you are reestablishing your.
Which is difficult because if each person's working full time and they're maybe at a little bit of different hours, you only have so much limited time. So sometimes, I used to be like, oh yeah, I can change my schedule to have time with you because I work for myself. So I wanted I had the freedom of my time more than others because that's what was important to me. But it was actually viewed as simping.
Value. You are saying
by them because they're it was viewed by simping as them. It's not like I was simping, like, oh, I better just do what she wants. I was like, no, I can make that work. I'm flexible. I'm a good time manager, so I can make it work. But no, that's considered simping.
My time is valuable, and my presence is a gift, not a right. This scarcity creates a natural spice. It keeps her engaged. It keeps her wanting to earn your time and your approval rather than taking it for granted. But why do men fear this so much? It's because of deep-seated emotional conditioning. From the time you are a little boy, you are often taught that women's emotions are fragile, like fine china, and that it is your job to handle them with
Fine vagina.
white gloves. You are taught that a woman crying or a woman being angry is a failure on your part. This is a lie.
This is what AJ is talking about. Like when you see a woman crying, especially in public, it's usually performative. He said when they're really truly crying, they're probably at home alone and stuff like that. So it's sinister, guys. It's really backward. It's really ass backward. It really is.
Women's emotions are powerful and resilient, but they are also fluid. We can feel a lot of things in one day, and many of those feelings have nothing to do with you. When a man takes on the
But it's still your problem in a way, or still taken out on you.
Responsibility of managing a woman's emotions, he is taking on an impossible task. You cannot fix a feeling, and when you try, you usually just end up looking weak. We've been fed a cultural narrative that love means total emotional transparency.
Which it probably should, by the way.
And total catering to the other person's needs. But that's not love. That's enmeshment. It's a psychological sinking ship. The hard truth that many men are afraid to face is this. If she leaves you because you started setting boundaries, if she leaves you because you disappointed her by being your own man, she was never actually attached to you. She was attached to the control she had over you. She was attached to the way you smoothed over her insecurities. She was attached to the utility you provided. And if that's the case, the relationship was already a ticking time bomb. You were eventually going to run out of parts of yourself to give. And she was eventually going to get bored of the shell of a man you had become. By choosing to disappoint her now, you are actually testing the validity of the relationship. You are asking, do you love me or do you love the fact that I do what you want? It is a terrifying question, but the answer is the only thing that will set you both free. This isn't an invitation to be a jerk. This isn't about being cold or dismissive or cruel. It's not about winning an argument or making her feel small. It's about being grounded. It's about being a man who has a North Star that isn't his wife's or girlfriend's current mood. It's about being able to look her in the eye while she's upset and say,
shut the fuck up.
I understand you're disappointed, but I'm going to do this anyway because it's important to me. And then not apologizing for it. It's about being able to sit in the discomfort of her silence without
just smile.
Without trying to bribe her back into a good mood. This kind of strength is actually deeply comforting to a woman, even if she can't admit it in the moment. It tells her that the man she is with is solid. It tells her that he is a leader, not a dictator, but a leader of his own life. We have to look at the deeper psychological layer of why women often push until they meet resistance. It's almost an evolutionary stress test. If a man can't handle a woman's emotional storm, how can he handle a real crisis? If he crumples when she gives him the cold shoulder for 2 days, how can he protect a family or build a legacy? When you refuse to be manipulated by disappointment, you are passing the test. You are showing that you have an internal compass. And paradoxically, that internal compass is what makes a woman feel she can truly relax. She can only let go of the reins if she knows for a fact that you won't drop them the second she makes a face. I want you to think about the men you admire. I'm willing to bet they aren't the men who are constantly checking their phones to see if their wives are mad at them. They are the men who have a sense of mission, who are respected in their fields, and who carry themselves with a certain...
And that means also follow your passion, guys. I don't care what it is. If you like building model trains, then do that and go hard at it. You get one life. If you want to, collect coins or what, just play the guitar. I like snowboarding and stuff like that. Do what you really want to do too. Don't let them rob your time, rob your life too. Rob your ability to get better at something or better your situation. And just dump it all into them. Because also too, like, let's say that it's not like a husband and wife thing. Yet you're just dating. They're not even really your girlfriend yet. She's taking time from maybe 2 or 3 guys all at once, you know, to put her on the pedestal. So she gets used to that. So, you know, don't let people rob your time or make you feel a certain way to please them. Because a lot of people look back on their life when they're going to die. They say, God damn, I put so many people before me. I let them rob my time. I let them, if they rob your time, it's literally like robbing your blood. It seriously is. And a lot of these women don't value other people's time because you're giving time to them. So if they don't value their time and you're giving time to them, it's just kind of a net loss for you. So be very guarded with your time and you know, spend it watching my channel.
An unfuckwithable piece. These men disappoint women all the time. They disappoint their mothers, their sisters, their wives, and their daughters, not because they don't care about them, but because they care about the truth and their own purpose more than they care about temporary emotional harmony. And ironically, these are usually the men that women are most desperate to be with and most loyal to. They are the men who don't need the woman's validation to feel like a man. The goal here is a relationship based on mutual desire, not one based on appeasement. Appeasement is what nations do when they are afraid of war. It is not what lovers do when they want to build a life together. When you base your relationship on appeasement, you are essentially living in a state of low-level conflict suppression. You are hiding who you are to keep the peace, but a peace that requires you to disappear isn't peace. It's a slow-motion suicide of the soul. Real connection happens when
what would their hobbies be? Going to a club, getting railed. Oh no, I like to travel, but when I travel, I go to a club and get railed. Yeah, I like to go to the city and we go to this cafe, but then I go to a club and get railed. I like to go on a boat, even though I don't water ski or do any of the shit in the boat, but I just go on a boat and get railed. I got to travel to Iceland and go to the hot water spring, and then I got railed by Icicle Nug. They don't have any of their own hobbies except watching other chicks go on yachts and get railed and stuff. It's really bad. They don't have any of their own hobbies. You know who doesn't have as much of that problem? Asian women. Why? Their parents are making them study, but they also know an instrument. An instrument is a great way to express yourself. You can do it at home. You can it uses your mind. It uses your body. You know, you can create with it or play out. You can create your own music or, you know, play the greats, you know. So that's a big problem with women. They don't have, you know, it's not like, you know, at nighttime you can, you know, come home after work, eat dinner, bang. The guy can go to his guy shed and do the shit that he wants to do, whether it's video games or work on a car or something. And she could, you know, do, you know, knitting or like, I don't care what it is, you know, play an instrument or something like that. So that's a big problem. Women don't have a lot of that. So they get the hamster wheel in their head to try to find stuff to mess with you and what you're doing. They think applying makeup on TikTok and complaining about current NPC narrative is a hobby. Exactly, Equilibrium. Exactly. Clean. Yeah, no, clean and stuff is good, but they do need something that they can do for enjoyment. Like, you know, I think some women now do some gaming, and that would be a wonderful thing to do. Hey, go play The Sims or whatever game that you play. But they don't really have a lot of that. Their hobby is kind of just watching, trying to mess with you doing your hobby a lot of times. That's why I used to ask on a date. I didn't grow up with a lot of women, really. So I used to ask, like, oh, well, you know, like, what are your hobbies? Like, what are you into and stuff? And I used to, like, not really hear them say anything. But then I realized, like, women don't have hobbies. They don't really do anything else besides, you know, like, you know, makeup and, you know, insert the next trend. It's really true.
Two whole separate people come together and say, I have my life, you have yours.
Even gardening, they barely even do that because even that is still being a hoe to them.
and we choose to share them. That requires the ability to say no. It requires the ability to be the bad guy for an evening because you have to work late, or you have to go to the gym, or you just need to sit in silence and think. If you are a man listening to this, I want you to start small. Notice the next time you feel that twinge of anxiety when she asks for something that you don't actually want to give. Notice how your instinct is to make an excuse, or to try to soften the blow, or to just give in because it's easier. Instead of doing that, try just being honest. I can't do that today. Or, I hear that you want me to stay, but I've already made plans. Watch her reaction. It might be uncomfortable. She might try to make you feel guilty, but
Which that means manipulate you. When she tries to make you feel guilty, that means manipulating you.
stay in that discomfort. Don't explain yourself away. Don't defend. Just be. You will find that the world doesn't end. You will find that over time, your own self-respect starts to grow. And you will find that the women who are actually worth your time will start to look at you with a different kind of intensity, a look of genuine respect and eventually deeper attraction. We have to get away from this idea that a man's value is tied to his ability to be a provider of emotional comfort. You are a human being with your own needs, your own drive, and your own path. A woman should be a beautiful addition to that path, not the person who dictates where the path goes. When you allow yourself to be the disappointer, you are actually being the most honest version of yourself. And honesty is the only foundation upon which a real, lasting love can be built. Anything else is just a performance. It's an act. And as anyone who has been in a long-term act knows, eventually the curtains have to come down. You'll be exhausted, she'll be bored, and the love you were trying so hard to protect will have evaporated years ago. So, let her be disappointed. Let her have her feelings. They are hers to manage.
Yeah, let her take some responsibility for her own mind and emotions. You know, let her the time to be Miss Independent.
Not yours. Your job is to be the best version of yourself, to stay true to your values, and to keep your identity intact. If she's the right woman, she will see your strength as a gift. She will realize that a man who can say no to her is a man she can finally, truly trust. She will realize that your yes actually means something because it isn't coerced out of fear. This is how you build a relationship that actually lasts, not by being perfect, and certainly not by being a servant, but by being a man who is unafraid to stand his ground.
Be ended sooner.
This isn't about being cold. It's about being anchored. When a ship is anchored, the waves can hit it, the wind can howl, and the ship might toss and turn, but it stays where it belongs. Many men in modern relationships have no anchor. They are just drifting based on whichever way the wind of their partner's emotion is blowing, and then they wonder why they feel seasick. They wonder why they feel lost. Your anchor is your
They feel semen sick.
own self-respect. It's your own set of non-negotiables. It's the parts of your life that you refuse to sacrifice for the sake of not making her mad. When you drop that anchor, you stop drifting. You become a fixed point in her world. And for a woman, there is nothing more attractive and nothing more settling than a man who is a fixed point. The deeper layer of this is that by disappointing her, you are actually inviting her to grow. You are refusing to be her emotional.
And all this extra fluff that this chick is saying is like, that's great and stuff, but that's not why you're doing this. You're just putting yourself first. How she reacts and responds to it is up to her. And in fact, this is like you shit testing her. Like, you know, are you going to really get upset when I'm going to, you know, better myself and do what I want to do? Because I can't just do what you want to do all the time because you don't even know what you want to do with yourself. You don't even know what you want to do. Most women are sheep, so they don't even know what they want to do. They have to be told what to do, told the latest trend, told what to be mad at. You know, told by Taylor Swift, oh, this new Taylor Swift song is dope. Is it? I don't know. I don't really think so, but You need to be told that it's good. That's why Taylor Swift is popular. They're told that it's good. They're like, oh my God, Taylor Swift has like makes so much money, has the most followers. I'm just gonna like simp for Taylor Swift. They don't even really like it themselves. They're just told to like it.
Crutch. You are saying, I believe you are strong enough to handle not getting your way. You are treating her like an adult rather than a child who needs to be placated. That is true respect. That is true equality. A woman who is constantly placated never has to develop her own internal emotional regulation. She stays in a state of perpetual wanting, never realizing that her happiness is her own responsibility. By stepping out of the role of the fixer, you give her the space to become a whole person too. You might find that she's much more capable than you gave her credit for. In the end, this is a call to a higher form of relationship. It's a call to move past the consumptive model of love, where one person eats and the other is eaten. It's a call to move toward a generative model where two people stand side by side.
All right, I think we got enough of this kind of autistic background Nightmare Before Christmas bullshit. I want to watch some B-dubs throw down. Let's switch it up a little bit. This is called Angry Mom Ruins Her Son's Birthday Party.
Man, listen, if you raise your voice to me, you will go to jail.
Look at that. She has is that a fanny pack or a gut pack there? Jesus.
No, I won't.
Hey, this is your last warning. You will go to jail tonight. That is it. You are done. Ma'am, that's it. You're done. Hey.
Police were called to a hotel about two women fighting. As soon as officers went upstairs, it was complete chaos.
What's going on? What's going on?
No, you're not. And I told you I will leave. If they telling me to get out, not by you. I don't know. You're talking to. Now this part is on you. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not much. They're grabbing their kids that are going to be leaving.
Huh?
Did you rent the room?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, the hotel is evicting the whole room. Okay.
What you mean?
Everybody's got to leave.
Just going to go through some of these comments real quick. Yep, B-dubs, well. Yep, they get crazy at a birthday party. It's probably like a 7-year-old's birthday party or something too. Laughing Man, I trust a person that is as a slave to their emotion that changes every few seconds. Right. It's a feeding pouch. Yeah. Brian, I remember taking chicks out on my speedboat. I would run full throttle, jumping waves. She would say, slow down, I'm scared. I would turn around, take them back to the marina. T, I don't know if you meant to add more. Yeah. More snow coming tonight. I think I'm getting like 5 inches, which is going to kind of screw up some of the work I'm doing tomorrow. So it hasn't started yet. You're going to get any snow, put it in. It's probably one of the last storms of the year. Equilibrium. The TradCon movement in Christianity is the final form of a busted, brokey woman post-wall. Yeah, it really is. It really completes the cycle of it. But TradCons is what enable the cycle of it as well. The TradCon is the simp that created the problem and also the savior. So, which is also interesting. So the TradCon means simp, basically, which drives them down to the path of, cheating and being a wild 304 and all that. And then they come back to the church and they want the TradCon simp again. So it's also with the men as well. Keyshawn Jones, is there any more ghetto ratchet than a B-dub? No, there's not. B-dubs are just, we're going to see one of these B-dubs just bust through one of these walls and be like, oh yeah, Kool-Aid type shit. This is like going to be crazy. This is going to be like world star type stuff.
They said that there was some kind of incident between parties in the room, and there's too many people in the room.
How is it too many people? We went outside for a second to.
Okay, yeah, I guess when they came up here, there was 15 some people in the room.
Yeah, God, I kept hearing it slam. I'm like, oh,
What a disaster. Why do you think it's okay
Jesus, they had 15 people in there,
to have a kids
and they got some big women too.
birthday party? That many kids?
Maybe R. Kelly's trapped in that closet. We're gonna go over R. Kelly's trapped in the closet one time. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's a really, really awesome, very unique. They call it a hip opera. It's crazy. I think R. Kelly, even though he's a freak, is actually pretty talented.
There's only supposed to be whatever, like
Well, can I
four
get my
at
money
least.
back? Because since I got here,
That
it's
we
been nothing
can't-
but
we can't handle that.
It been
You gotta
nothing
talk to
but
corporate about
inconvenience
that.
for me, and I still decided to stay here.
I
So
get
I
it.
don't understand what's going on.
You'd have to talk to corporate about that. I can't make that decision. We're just the police, so they've asked us to get everybody out of the room. And
So is it because my friend is transgender?
I
Is
have
it? Okay.
I-
That's
Transgender?
no idea.
And you laughing? What's so funny? I don't know. What's so funny? What's so funny? What's so funny?
Oh my God, this is gonna be a mess.
Okay, we can leave, but what's so funny though? It's funny that you.
Look at the size of this broad here.
Hey, don't
No,
get people arrested right now.
No, ain't
There's no
nobody getting
reason to
arrested.
get. We'll have great
That's
things.
why we gotta leave.
Talking.
You
So
talking about we gotta leave
the
for what?
hotel wants to evict
Come on,
everybody because of some
no,
argument or some
no,
fight that happened before we got here.
Okay.
Okay, why
Yep, we got a little baby in there.
For some
not we
reason,
back?
she
Since I got
started
here,
yelling
nothing but
stuff.
convenience and
Ma'am,
convenience.
listen, if you raise your voice to me, you will go to jail.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Because I have a right.
Okay.
I have a right.
You're
Yes,
right.
I do.
What is the right?
You don't right now. Yeah, I know. I understand. So basically, everybody's got to get evicted. It has nothing to do with us. That's the hotel. That's all.
She's complaining about now. How would they go about?
I'll get her money, right? Yeah. So she's got to call corporate office. That has nothing to do with the police department. Yeah, I'll get you.
Well, with the transgender, it's like, they got kicked out, but so did them. Oh,
I think they've got like a manager card or something.
Included. Because why they tell us about the pool? When I asked them about the pool, they got mad. Like, what's
Getting contact with the public to the manager, that's all you get.
Well, I'll get it for you on the way out. If you stay with me towards the end, and I'll hand it to you directly. Yeah. Okay.
Please don't.
Yeah. I mean, she's just getting to the point that people should go to jail. I don't want to do that. I just want to go to jail. Right. I would appreciate that.
They came for a pool party, man. They didn't have no point. They should have told her that's what we did. That's why.
Yeah.
they came for a pool party. Please, these guys can't swim. They're not even wearing bathing suits and stuff. Please, look at this gut here. Jesus, we have a real bad food problem in this country. Look at this guy just groping this 304 right there.
That's why I was like, she irritated because she just took her money.
Oh, that's the transgender. I thought that was a dude. My bad.
No, I understand. I totally understand. Yeah. So the problem is that whatever argument or fight or something that happened before we even got here, that's like. Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yep. Go ahead and have at it.
So now she's worried that she said, is that a policy or something? If they get kicked out, they don't get no money back or something?
I don't know anything about that.
You said, yeah.
There's a corporate number.
Huh?
It's a hotel policy, yeah.
Hotel policy.
They don't have to be funded, but at the same time, if she can go peacefully, she may be.
Yeah, she could call the corporate office. Yeah, see,
that's what I'm saying.
I think they do like a.
This guy's trying to be
a
decent.
Like not, it's not like just like hey, no matter what, this is what happens. Yeah. So I would say when she calms down, whoever running the room calms down, call that corporate number, tell them what happened, and see if they'll work.
Right.
No problem. Hey, this is your last warning. You will go to jail tonight. That is it. You are done.
She just threatened our front desk. I want to trespass. She just threatened our front desk.
Yeah, we'll cover Thomas Sowell deep dive tonight on that black redneck book. You hear how just loud and ratchet they are? That's why they're getting kicked out, because they have no peace to them. They're just acting like a goddamn orangutan. Just chill out.
Ma'am, that's it. You're done. Hey, come here.
Guys, back up.
Come over here now.
I can't give you on my purse. Can you get off my arm? I'm walking. Can you get off my arm? Can you get off my arm? I'm walking.
Okay, we gotta hold you. All right, wait right here. I gotta.
Can you please tell me to get off my arm now?
Hang on, just
Because I'm walking.
okay. We're gonna get your purse.
It doesn't matter.
I can't.
You need to go.
Just look at all this chaos. And I'm sure the hotel staff came up a few times and said, "Can you guys just, kind of keep it down?" I don't know what time. I'm not sure if it's saying it's 10:41 at night, but it's a hotel. People are traveling. People are trying to sleep. This hotel is probably in their town. I don't think they're out of town, so they just want to go and act a fool, trash a hotel room, so they don't have to do it in their own backyard.
You don't know your rights because obviously you're not listening.
I can ask her what is
So
she
you
being
can go.
detained for?
Go.
That's am I right? Anything to do with you. That's am I right?
That's what they was laughing at.
That's all right. Why is she being detained? You guys have to leave.
Go.
Why is she being detained? You guys have to leave. Why is she being detained? Why is she being detained?
Okay.
This is like insanity.
Because I'm talking. Literally. And they been with us since we got in here. They been since we got in here.
You have to leave.
What did I do in the front day? Literally.
No. You have to get everything.
Literally. Y'all was thirsty. I know y'all was thirsty.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take her purse.
Go ahead. I can't because he already handcuffed me. It's around my shoulder.
I'm gonna take them off your shoulder, okay? Can you give me a light? I can't see. Okay, if you
See how nice that is? Having things nice and calm and peaceful. This is also what femininity should be like. Not some yelling, crazy B-dub sounding like a group of orangutans who's being so disrespectful to police, the hotel. You damn well know that they didn't give a damn about the rooms next to them, below them, or anything like that. They really think the world revolves around them. And they're just so goddamn loud. I'll start it again, but it's just chaos. Every time I see a B-dub, it's just the volume of them is just insane. I don't know if they don't have good hearing, so they just speak louder or want to be heard. They also talk like ridiculously fast too. They literally talk at you, not talk with you.
You can calm down. You can talk. I cannot talk to you because it's my son not hurting my arm. I'm sorry. I'm trying to turn around. You can talk to me. I'm not doing nothing. I don't have nothing. Look, can you check me? I'm not checking you.
Put your hand behind your back.
It's for you to get off my arm.
Yeah, they're making it so much more difficult on themselves.
I've been doing that. I'm sitting here.
They're saying disorderly conduct, man. So just for you're gonna go in the car for.
Bro, what? I didn't do just shut the for a minute. Damn, shut up real quick. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, you want to make it? Listen, 5 seconds. No, 4 seconds. You want to make it 6 seconds? Talk about the police. Just actually just right 4 seconds.
Let me get all your back before I go. Everybody in the car.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
That's another thing. Why are they always on the? How can you be on the phone? It's hard to see now. That guy's on the phone on speakerphone trying to talk to other people with all this mess around. I don't get why they love goddamn speakerphones so much. like I think it all started when they had those like Boost Mobile commercials in the early 2000s. They're like, did it? Yo, Ninja, where you at? They're like, did it? Yo, I'm at the barber shop. Where you at? Did it? Yeah, I'm at the candy store over the corner. Did it? Where you? I'm getting the Newports. Where you at? It's like, God damn it! Just be civil.
Callie's right here. Callie.
They're talking about she threatened the front desk. The lady was just looking at
You need to go. Walk away or you're getting arrested too. Go.
I can record.
You can record. As you're walking that way.
You're trespassing.
Are you denying me her badge? Walk away.
Are you denying me her badge?
You see our badge right here.
I'm trying to get everybody. Are you denying me her badge? I'm trying to get everybody. Can I get her badge?
That's 58.
You have to leave.
Now leave. Go.
That's in my right. No, it is not.
Go.
Yes, you are very close to going to jail for trespassing.
That was a tranny.
I know, but they're just crowding everywhere.
Can I get the badge number, sir?
I gave it to you. It's
Can I get
58.
everybody's badge number?
You have everybody's.
Yeah, you trying to stop talking to me? See?
You can
Yeah.
record. It's fine.
But I'm trying to get everybody's badge number.
You have them all.
We're dealing with a situation.
Go.
No equilibrium will be a 304th world. Oh.
Walk over there.
I don't have to go over there. You said wait. I'm going to wait.
I told you to go over there.
I'm right here.
You're gonna go in the car.
Keyshawn, I think they think they're gonna get their way if they talk more, but it just never works.
Okay. Everybody else needs to go. Everybody else needs to go. That's it. We're done. Back up. We're done. We're done. There was multiple warnings. Go ahead. Go.
Take this card. Whatever it is.
She couldn't even get her kid, Cardi. You're talking about she threatened somebody. Ain't nobody over there scared. They was just like, that shit don't make no fucking sense. Somebody put their head down and everything. I don't want
Be able to make some
Just this is like a riot. They just simply had to leave the hotel. No one was going to get arrested. The hotel asked them to leave. Do you understand why the hotel wanted them gone now? They're going to ruin the whole goddamn hotel. If this was next to my room or something, I probably would have complained too. It's probably in the middle of the night. Oops. Hang on, I think I messed something up. Sorry about this. I think I messed something up. But we'll go to a different one because they're basically that's basically the end of that one. Oh, I've seen this one before.
Down there at the end with the cart and kind of red hair and that guy.
Yep.
And they previously shoplifted before.
Yeah, they've come in here. I've seen them in here a couple times.
I'm going to give them the you don't want their business speech.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Hi guys, how we
Clayton.
doing? Hey, need you guys to leave the store without taking anything. Okay? You guys are identified as previous shoplifters. Yeah, store security said they called us here. They said you walked in with another
Yeah, this is a little heroin nug.
guy just now, and they literally pointed you out, both of you. Yeah, both of you. You guys are trespassing from the store for life, and you need to leave.
You know what gives it away, bro? What? Those stolen jeans.
The jeans with the stolen tags on them, and then so you guys need to leave the store, okay? If you don't leave now, you're gonna get arrested for trespass. You guys understand? You can't come back. Cool. They don't want your business. They don't want your money. The store security. It's really simple.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. They don't want your business. You got to take those gloves off. You got to leave. I'm not a weirdo. I'm just doing my job. You got to leave. Okay. Well, I'm sure if I took your dirty fingerprints outside and got your fingerprints, you'd have a long history of.
Excuse me?
You have dirty
You want to do it? Let's go. Check it out. Check it out. Come on. You want, no, seriously. I will
Stop. Don't grab.
No, I
Don't
want
grab the
you.
card. Let
I
go.
will grab my purse.
Yes, let go. You can take the purse. Go ahead. You got to
I
leave the
want you
store.
to take my fingerprint. Thank you. Take my fingerprint. Seriously. I prove you wrong.
Thanks.
We would have to go all the way out to my car out front
Yeah,
with my
you're
fingerprints. Cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really rude.
I don't care. You're really, really rude. For,
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
tell me I have a long.
Go ahead. It would be a really fun end to my day. I just don't think you should be slinging around terms like that because it's rude. You got to leave the store. I'm going to arrest you for trespassing.
You said I was wrong, and you're so
Keep going. Keep going. You got to clear the store and clear the entire parking lot. Oh boy, that's actually called disorderly conduct. Stop where you are. You're under arrest. Stop. If you start to run, I've already told you you're under arrest. If you start to run, I'm going to chase you.
I didn't fucking do anything wrong. Are you
Swing at me.
serious?
If you swing at me,
Stop. No, I didn't do nothing wrong. I swear to God, you guys are. I'm not under arrest.
You're under arrest.
For what? For what?
Relax. Disorderly
No,
conduct.
no.
Let go of me.
No.
Hey, listen.
You
I
let
gave
go.
you
I didn't
plenty
do
of
anything wrong. You guys
opportunities.
are fucking out of pocket right now. I swear to God. For
Let
what?
go.
I didn't fucking do anything wrong.
Let go.
You
You're going to get
are you
put on the
serious?
ground.
For what? What did I do? Tell me what the fuck I did. Tell me what the fuck I did.
It's called
Tell me what the fuck
disorderly
I did.
conduct
For what?
for throwing their property on the ground.
Are you fucking serious?
Absolutely.
Because you guys are so out of pocket. I'm sitting here trying to pay with my money. I have money, cash money, okay?
Okay. You were told to
No.
leave the store
And I did.
7-8 times.
No, but I feel literally
Let go of
you
your
think you're
purse.
talking about me.
Let go.
Let go of the purse. It's okay.
You're not arresting me.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not.
Okay, go ahead.
Stop. Stop. You guys are
Hey, hey.
You guys are fucking so out of pocket.
I got mine.
For why? Alex!
Can you keep an eye out for any other
I
guys
didn't do
approaching us?
anything
You went in the store with 2 guys.
Alex, get a camera so I can videotape this shit.
We are videotaping.
Good. No, you're on
Stop.
I'm on it. Stop.
Hey, your arm can
You
get
need to
broken. I don't want
relax.
to break your arm.
Penile
You're
code
resisting.
304.
Stop. Roll over on your stomach.
For what?
Did you say, yeah, you know? Okay, now
No,
you're
I'm
under
saying-
arrest for another charge
No,
for
I'm
resisting
Hey Kevin,
arrest.
43.
Why are you
Thanks
guys
for
doing this? I
subscribing.
didn't do
Appreciate
anything
it.
wrong.
Seen you on
wanna get
AJ's
tased?
channel
That's the
before.
next
I
step.
didn't do anything
That's the
wrong.
next step.
AJ took an early night tonight, so I just decided to make one. Thank you, by the way. Thanks to anyone new subscribing. I'm new to doing
Hey,
YouTube.
let go of my hand.
Not touch your fucking
You did. You just squeezed my hand again.
No, I didn't. Why am I?
Hey, stop.
You guys are so violent. I
Stop.
don't understand what the fuck is wrong with you guys. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I just have to stand up and then fucking put you down. You're
Nobody told us to stand up. We said
you.
stop.
See just how difficult they just simply had to walk, just walk out of the store. She had to throw the buckets on the ground and just be a complete, just trash. You guys, if you're interacting with a cop, have some decorum, say the least amount as possible. If they ask you to leave, just leave. If you're ever dealing with a cop, maybe try to fade into the background and just get out of the situation. But don't do what this chick did. She's only doing this because she's a woman. The guy knew to leave. Jorge, whoever that was, he just left. He had stolen jeans on too. I think he just got away with those.
Stop.
You.
Why are you freaking out?
Because I'm being arrested for what?
We told you like 30 times.
I didn't do anything. Can you stop? Get the fuck off of me.
No, thrashing.
Get the fuck off of my fucking leg, you fucking piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
See how she still thinks she's running shit? Like she just gets to boss these cops around.
I fucking hate you.
You're not the first, you're not the last.
You guys please let me stop.
Okay, so you're under arrest.
For what? Why did you do anything wrong? Can you tell him to get the fuck off me? Seriously, he's fucking hurting my fucking
No,
leg.
you just started kicking at my
I did not
office.
try to kick him.
I saw it.
Do not stand up.
I never will kick you. I literally have cash money. I was gonna buy some shit.
So
Mom,
you
I
know we're
swear to
audio
God.
and video recording?
Good for you.
Just letting you know.
You want to see my money in my fucking purse?
Well, it's not about money if you walked out without paying for stuff.
I didn't walk out without paying my website. They told me here at the store.
That's what they told us.
No, what?
Yep.
No, that's different.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This is a different thing?
Yeah,
They
thank you.
identified them as previous shoplifters.
not
We
me.
went
Yep,
in
none of
and-
us have any of the bullshit. We can do what we
Totally.
want,
I've
Kevin.
been to the store with him.
All right, she
No,
finally left us. She left. She grabbed a step.
Give yourself a round of applause if you're not taking out some dumb 304 to some stupid steakhouse. You got to drive, she's getting too many drinks. You're driving home, half drunk yourself just to, have some mediocre sex and you get home and then like, oh, can we go out to breakfast tomorrow? We can go out to breakfast tomorrow and we can waste your whole Saturday doing some bullshit that you don't want to do. And then Sunday we can go for brunch. and do some other bullshit that you don't want to do on your days off. Well, it'll be great. It'll be awesome. And you can spend like $300 on me this weekend. It's good to not be in that position.
Your buckets and toss them backwards at me.
I swear to God, I didn't think he was talking to me.
You didn't think who was talking to you?
You guys, I thought
When we were in the store? Yeah, I was talking to you. We said many times.
Why, I know,
We'll
why,
go back.
like you said, you guys.
We'll go back to the footage. Yeah, both of you. You guys are trespassing the store for life, and you need to leave.
Hey, what are you doing?
Kayla, how are you?
You're under arrest. We can search your
I
bag.
gotta go through my.
It's called instant. Kayla. No, do not stand up.
Well, happy birthday, Equilibrium.
Are you injured at all?
Yes, I
It is Friday the 13th, which is a little bit fucked up, but I was a little superstitious today. I don't know. I had kind of an eerie feeling. Sometimes I worry about Friday the 13th.
What's wrong?
What hurt?
My fucking, when you knee on my fucking back, my fucking chair is hella bad. It's hard to breathe.
So we're also gonna have a sergeant come up here and talk to you.
That's
because we
fine.
used
That's
the
perfectly
force.
fine.
You want to stand up? I can sit you down on the bumper now.
Name for
How is this legal at all?
Have a seat. Actually, you know what? Do you have anything in your pockets? Anything on you that's going to hurt me, poke me, stick me, needles,
No,
knives, explosives,
no.
guns, anything like that?
No.
Let's walk over here to this back of the car.
So, no, I didn't do anything wrong. Seriously. You guys are so fucked
As soon as the cuffs go on, she starts
You have
crying.
to push your pocket back in. It's the lowest of the priorities right now.
How is this even legal? How is this even legal?
No drug laws in Kent.
Not even kidding. I just put this
New
car
drug laws just signed into effect yesterday.
This arrest took place in Kent, Washington on May 6, 2023. Possession of drugs in the state of Washington was effectively decriminalized ever since 2021, meaning people couldn't be charged for possession of controlled substances in public. However,
How's that working out there? Look at these dagger teeth. This is a vampire. I don't want to put my Johnson in there. It will come out. This is a damn wood chipper.
just 4 days before Kayla's arrest date, an ordinance banning drug possession in the city of Kent was unanimously approved by the city council. So Kayla could be in very big trouble for having the pills and drug paraphernalia in her possession.
I literally just put this coat on. I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. I swear to God, on my kid's life.
On her kids, she swears to God on her. So she's lying about pills and drugs being magically in her jacket pocket on her kid's life. Wonderful mother. Just a wonderful mom.
Why am I getting arrested right now?
You're under arrest. You're under arrest for disorderly conduct. And you're under arrest for
Yeah, she
resisting
does look
arrest.
like Marilyn Manson.
I didn't do anything wrong.
And right now she's the star of She's the Dope Show or whatever.
I don't understand. There's no reason I should be arrested right now. Literally, no fucking reason I should be arrested right now. This is so out of pocket. Seriously, there's nothing. I didn't do anything wrong.
That's a crack pipe. That ain't weed.
Because I didn't do anything wrong. I understand. There's no reason I should be arrested right now. Literally, no fucking reason I should be arrested.
Now we know why she has those sharpened teeth. She's
right now.
biting
This is
down
so
on
out of
that
pocket.
thing.
Seriously, there's nothing.
That's a crack pipe, guys. That's not a weed pipe. That's a crystal meth pipe or a crack pipe,
I didn't do anything wrong.
which might be state issued in Washington. Maybe it's a state issued one.
I'm a kid's life. I swear. I'm not even kidding. I don't do blues at all. I swear to God. I know what they are, but I don't do them. I swear to God, my kid's life.
Or meth.
You know the
Yeah,
street
meth.
uniform.
Yes, I do. I know. Yeah, I know what they are. I know
Yeah, yeah, Clayton. Yeah, that's a Marilyn Manson song.
Just sweep
Yeah,
down the side of your
beautiful.
bra.
Yeah,
Make sure you don't have
yeah.
anything in there. Okay, widen your stance for me. See my hand? Step in there.
No fucking reason to be arrested right now. There's no fucking
And put your foot in.
reason why I'm being arrested.
Put your foot in. We already explained it to you when we were trying to talk
I
to you
didn't
on
do
the way to the
anything
store.
wrong at all. This is so fucking wrong.
What type of warrants does you have?
Theft stuff, DWLS stuff.
Theft stuff. I'm blown away.
I'm not taking her without anywhere without
Yeah.
So
Okay, where is your body? Did you just rip?
yeah.
Oh, I am downwind and that hit hard. Wow, that's hot.
It came out hot. I will.
This is exactly what this chick is like. It looks just like her. Let me go back. Let me go back here. Yeah.
Did you just rip?
Yeah.
Bro, I am downwind and that.
Oh, he just farted, the cop.
What type of warrants does she have?
Theft stuff, DWLS stuff.
Theft stuff. I'm blown away.
I'm not taking her anywhere without my documents.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, where is your body cam? Did you just rip?
Yeah.
Bro, I am downwind and that hit hard. Wow. That's hot.
It came hot. I will cite and release my guy, even though he's kind of being a dickhead. I'll grab her and transport her down.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson had some real good bangers back then. Yeah, he Marilyn Manson actually made some pretty cool music actually.
But we need 16 to come see her.
True. And fire's fine too.
And fire's
complaining of back pain, correct? Let me look at her warrants real quick.
Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand each of the rights I've explained to you? Do you need me to read the rights again? No? Okay. Do you understand the rights I've explained to you? No answer? Okay. What's that?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Having your rights in mind, do you want to talk to me now?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah. One question. Why you really think I deserve to be taken to jail? I've been.
Oops, sorry. Damn it, I messed something up. Sorry, I messed something up, guys. I meant to put this on. When she was being interviewed. Let me try that again. Let me try this again. I only have one monitor. This actually could be funny.
You're lying. I don't know freaking warrant.
Unless you gave us a bad name. If you give us a bad name.
Once I get another monitor, I'll transition through stuff like that. But that could have been pretty
You have
cool.
warrants for theft.
No, I don't. For what? What are you talking about? I went to court.
That might have been a Trent Reznor collaboration.
I'm gonna go.
They were huge there.
To my car, I'm gonna get my fingerprint scanner.
Please.
If you ended up giving us a false
No,
name,
it's my name.
okay. If you gave us a false name, then you're gonna get extra charges for.
Okay, that's my real name.
Goes to Marilyn
And I don't have no
Manson.
warrant. How do I
You
write
do-
to court?
You do have warrants. That's what we just pulled up on our
How?
computer.
But I paid $266.
Something from Federal A and something from Auburn.
Federal A? Well, can you tell me because I have no knowledge of this at
We'll go
all.
through that. We'll go through that in just a minute, okay?
As she's walking out, she throws her behind her. So like, all right, well, we're gonna take you into custody on that now.
Disorderly.
Yeah.
I said like 3 times after that.
It
Like,
was
that's
so-
disorderly conduct. You're under arrest. Stop moving. Don't run. Stop moving. Don't run. And I was like, hey, if you start running, it's going to be more. And then as soon as we put hands on,
Notice how a ton of these women, if they just simply listened, they could get off with a lot. Even with body cams and everything and them not being hot or anything, they could get off with a lot if they just simply just followed some simple directions of just leaving the store. That's it. That's all she needed to do is leave the store, but she made life so much harder on herself than it needs to be. And then they play victim afterward, but it's like, well, you know, you couldn't just follow a simple order. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just insane. Especially if you have a crack pipe in your pocket, don't get cocky with the police. She could have got away with having the crack pipe in her pocket and everything if she just walked out of the store. Just completely walk out of the parking lot. And just keep it moving. Now she's really cooked. Equilibrium. Think about it. Nothing had a significant look or style since the late 90s. Everyone had a style and they fit in with. Now it's all about boring all a boring amalgamation where they are all a part of the same social media algorithm. Yeah, well, that's what the algorithm wants. They want you to be sheep, guys. It's easier to be a sheep because, you know, if you don't fit in, you're not. They want you to be a sheep. You know, like we are really cooked from social media, guys. Particularly women, they are so cooked. It's their god. It's their sense of self-esteem, their self-worth. You know, their connection to the world. It's really bad. So I might do some of these lives I just kind of did randomly, but I want to do one on the effects of social media because it's really bad. And there's actually we're going to go over. So there's a new book out by. In fact, you know what? We're going to look for this right now. We're going to look for. The Coddling of the American Mind. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Here's a short video which we can watch. So, a little background on this because this has to do with that because she was just going to get arrested. That was pretty much the end of that video. So this guy's name right here is Jonathan Haidt. H-I. Oh, it's spelled on there. So him and another guy were college professors, and they were hearing from other college professors if they brought up anything controversial and all that. Certain students would try to get them to lose their job, their tenure at a college. So he started, you know, doing studies, collecting studies, and learning that basically kids born after 1992 were all different. They became intergalactic cooked, and because they were the first, you know, generation to start to have like a smartphone and social media from middle school on, and they start to see how much it really, really messes you up big time. So the original book that he made was called The Coddling of the American Mind. It's a really awesome book on a whole bunch of stuff. Since then, he's made another like version of it called The Anxious Generation. We're gonna do a deep dive into that one time. It's one of, if you guys, we'll do this speech. See what this little tidbit says. But it's really, really good. It's really good, and it's about. It's related to everything you can think of. It's not just, you know, about kids.
About the generation coming along, but at the same time, there's a very sharp change with kids who were born in 1995 and afterwards.
Oh, 95.
Beginning with kids born in 1995, they spend a lot less time going out with friends. They don't get a driver's license as often. They don't drink as much. They don't go out on dates. They don't work for money as much. What are they?
That's a big deal already. That
they doing? They're spending a lot more time sitting on their beds with their devices, interacting that way. These are the first kids who got social media when they were 13, roughly. They were subjected to much more anti-bullying content in their schools.
They're the woke kids, basically.
Much more adult supervision. They were raised in the years after 9/11. They were given much less recess and free play with No Child Left Behind. There was much more testing pushed down into earlier grades. So in a lot of ways, Gen Z has been denied the independence, the independent play that previous generations got. Gen Z has been raised with what's called moral dependency. There's always been an adult there for them to go to. And so we don't know if this is for sure the reason, but they seem to have more difficulty working out problems on their own. When we protect children from unpleasantness, from conflicts, from insults, from teasing, from exclusion, we are setting them up to be weak, to be more easily damaged, to be more easily.
This guy, strangely enough, kind of advocates for some bullying and, you know, boys being boys, going to a junkyard and breaking car windows and getting into some trouble and you know, some small fights and, you know, shit like that. He seems like kind of a woke liberal, but he's actually not. It's a really, really awesome book.
Discouraged. In the 1990s, as the crime rate was plummeting, as American life was getting safer and safer, Americans freaked out and thought that if they take their eyes off their children, the children will be abducted. The fear was stoked by cable TV in the 1980s. There were a few high-profile abductions.
Last year, 50,000 children disappeared, many of them from nice, safe neighborhoods.
It's okay.
Come on.
It's okay.
Talk
I'm
to
a
your children about
politician.
not talking to strangers, and do it today.
But it's not until the 1990s that we really start locking kids up and saying, you cannot be outside until you're 14 or 15. Lenore Skenazy, who wrote the book Free Range Kids, she became famous as America's worst mom.
Yeah, but Keyshawn, you have the opportunity to actually trample all over everybody too. So that they, you don't need to, you're listening. If you're in here listening to us, this is, I think you're going to be just fine. So you use it as a way to capitalize over their weakness too. So don't follow the crowd. You don't have to be like them. And, you still have your own mind, can make your own decisions. And, you're in control. You don't have to do what all they're doing. So if they're all weak, don't be afraid if you stand out and are a little bit different and not so popular. So don't simp to what they want.
Because in 2009, she let her 9-year-old son ride the New York City subway. Not only did he survive, he was thrilled. He felt he'd learned something. He felt he could go out into the world. We took this essential period of childhood from about 8 to 12, when kids throughout history have practiced independence, have gotten into adventures, have made rafts and floated down the Mississippi River. We took that period and said, you don't get to practice independence until it's too late, until that period is over. Now, a couple years before you go to college, now you can go outside. Oh, okay, go off to college. And a lot of them are not ready. They're just not used to being independent. When they get to college, they need more help. They're asking adults for more help. Protect me from this. Punish him for saying that. Protect me from that book. Students are thinking in terms of safety and danger. Students say, by their own admission, they are more fragile. They use a language of fragility, weakness, trauma, triggering. They see triggers all over the world. What are triggers? Triggers are cases where you take a part of your nervous system and you say, if someone says that word, they can control my nervous system and make me afraid and anxious. That's a terrible idea. We should not be teaching our kids to see the world as being full of triggers. We should teach them to live in a world that is physically quite safe, but full of offensive statements and ideas, especially on the internet. The bottom line is that if we want to raise a generation of kids who can deal with diversity of all kinds, who can go out into a world that's physically actually quite safe, but yet full of offensive content, we need to get our educational practices in line with some very basic, important psychological principles. They are, we are all prone to motivated reasoning and the confirmation bias, and we're all prone to tribalism and black and white thinking. We need to be educating kids so that they do less of this stuff. Always trust your feelings. It may sound wise, it may sound romantic, but wise people around the world have noticed that.
Yeah, Keyshawn, another thing too, that's kind of a new thing. Weed is really readily available. And I used to smoke. I think I started smoking weed at 17 or kind of around your age and stuff. And part of what they say, if you have a teenage brain and stuff, or you're smoking a lot of weed, your brain is still developing. They do say some of that stuff that your frontal lobe doesn't really develop till later in life. So be careful with that. I'm not saying you can't experiment and stuff like that, but try not to, cook your brain and get caught up in these addictions and stuff like that at a young age. Really try to preserve yourself, I would say. Try not to eat too much, junk food and stuff like that too. Understand that a lot of the food we have is poison and stuff. So you're growing up in sort of a difficult time, but you have this community here and stuff. You know, so when we're making fun of Gen Z or something, like, you know, you don't take it personal. You just, you know, you just try and learn from maybe what not to do.
That we don't react to the world as it actually is. We react to the constructions, the perceptions. Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of things. All of us have had experiences of these. One thing I like to think about is Homer Simpson saying,
Shut up, brain, or I'll stab you with a Q-tip.
our brain.
Also, too, I want you guys to understand this. What Homer Simpson is representing. Let me see if I can find where Homer Simpson is.
Of things.
He's a Greek philosopher.
All of us have had experiences of these. One thing I like to think about is Homer Simpson saying,
Shut up, brain, or...
Okay. I want you guys to also understand this. I like The Simpsons. I think it's cool. They're calling it Simpsons for a reason, and they're calling it Homer Simpson for a reason. Homer is one of the great, he's almost like a Greek philosopher, like Plato and stuff like that. He's considered one of the best writers. Simpson is basically saying be a simp, because Homer is kind of a simp. Homer Simpson is the archetype for being a dumb beta male. The dad is not the leader of the household. He's an idiot. He just like, oh, I like beer and cheese. They, you know what I mean? Part of that's the programming. The Simpsons has gone on a long time. The Simpsons also does what's called the predictive programming. So when they're saying, you know, the Simpsons predicted, you know, certain events happening and stuff, it's true. They're not predicting it. They're programming you to accept that. So that's part of what the archetype of Homer Simpson is. He's a simp, but Homer. We'll search for what Homer is afterward. But Homer is similar to Dante. I don't know if Dante's Inferno is in here. But Dante and Homer are considered some of the best writers, like Shakespeare and whatnot, that have a lot of wisdom and everything. That's why they're calling it Homer Simpson. And he's like the beta male typical dad from all these, sitcoms, you know, like I can't think of any off the top of my head. But you guys know how the dad is always like an idiot in the sitcom and the mom has to keep him straight. That's what this is. It's just another version of that. It's been going on a long time. And it is a great show, but it's also written by a bunch of small hats, too.
Stab you with a Q-tip.
Our brains do this. Our brains go on and on. And we're like, stop it, stop it, stop it. What we've begun seeing on campus is that students are encouraged to follow their feelings. If they feel offended by something, then they have been attacked. They're supposed to not question those feelings. But part of wisdom is the ability to say, now, wait a second, are there other ways to look at this? These are crucial skills for critical thinking. These are crucial skills for mental health. And we need to be teaching young people at all stages to question their first interpretations, look for evidence, and improve the way they interpret the world. CBT is just a way of teaching people skills to do exactly that, to question their feelings, to look for evidence. So in CBT, you learn the names of these distortions, about 15 or so distortions. You can guess what they mean. Catastrophizing, black and white thinking, labeling, mind reading. Aaron Beck, a psychiatrist in the 1960s, noticed that depressed and anxious people have a way of constructing these beliefs that I'm bad, the future is bad, my future, the world is a bad place. And they're mutually reinforcing. And this is the way the world feels to them. And if you can improve their thinking and break up those beliefs, they're released from the depression. Cognitive behavioral therapy is not more effective than several other treatments. Most treatments are about equally effective, but it's so easy to learn. Other techniques like meditation work, but they're harder. Most people drop off. So CBT is easy, really well tested, has a huge impact on a variety of mental illnesses, especially those related to depression and anxiety. We think every college student, and heck, every high school student, should be taught these basic skills. given how high the rates of anxiety and depression are today. Life is a battle between good people and evil people. If you think about it for a moment, who are we? What is our species? We evolved in small-scale societies that were locked in struggle with other small-scale societies. Human nature is really, really finely tailored for intergroup conflict, for tribal warfare. This is the way our ancestors lived for a long time. Now that we've transcended it, we're so desperate for it, we've invented team sports, fraternities. We love these sorts of competitions. Our brains are made for it. Now, it can be fun, or it can get dark, and it can lead to racism, all kinds of forms of bigotry. On some college campuses and in some high schools, we see forms of education, forms of training that teach students to make more and more distinctions, to see more and more.
Look familiar, guys? Is this making sense to you?
Life is a battle.
Liberal versus conservative. Small hat versus not small hat. Black for BLM versus white people.
Between good people and evil people. If you think about it for a moment, who are we? What is our species? We evolved in small-scale societies that were locked in struggle with other small-scale societies. Human nature is really, really finely tailored
Good,
for
Keyshawn,
intergroup conflict, for tribal warfare. This is the way our ancestors lived for a long time.
You're
Now that we've
developing your
transcended
brain,
it,
dude.
we're so desperate for it. We've invented team sports, fraternities. We love these sorts of competitions. Our brains are made for it. Now, it can be fun, or it can get dark, and it can lead to racism, all kinds of forms of bigotry. On some college campuses and in some high schools, we see forms of education, forms of training that teach students to
forms of indoctrination. Protect our indoctrination is what this should say, because they're not smart when they come out of this. They're indoctrinated. This is an indoctrinated mass of people here.
Make more and more distinctions, to see more and more binary dimensions between people, where the people who are high are bad, the people who are low are good. When we talk about identity politics, which is a controversial topic, we start by saying, of course you need identity politics. Identity politics is not a bad thing automatically. Politics can be based on any distinction. It can be based on any group interest. So for gay students or Black students or women to organize, that's identity politics. That's perfectly legitimate. The question is, how are they organizing? What's the overarching framework? And we've seen two versions of it in American history. You can do it the way most of the civil rights leaders did it, Martin Luther King in particular.
So Martin Luther King is okay. Malcolm X is more the real deal. Martin Luther King's speech was really written by a small hat, and he became compromised by going to basically Rothschild type eyes wide shut parties and started doing orgies with white women and stuff like that. Malcolm X was a much more real deal, more of a Muslim. Malcolm X, in my opinion, is much more powerful than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King is just more popular, but he didn't write that speech.
You draw a larger circle around the group, you emphasize what we have in
this I Have a Dream one, that was actually written by a small hat guy.
common, and then you say,
So he was a puppet for people. The message is still positive though.
some of our brothers and sisters are being denied equal access, equal opportunity, or equal dignity. That works. That has worked historically in much tougher times and zones, and that works and will work on college campuses. The other way you do it, which is growing
Nice
on college
job, Kevin.
campuses, is common enemy identity politics.
It's
based on the Bedouin notion.
almost
me
40
against
days
my
of no
brother, me and my
alcohol.
brother
It's been
against
very
our
difficult.
cousin, me, my brother, and cousin
Maybe
against the stranger.
6
Very
days,
general
no
principle
weed.
of social psychology. If you try to unite people, let's
Addictions,
all unite against
it's
them.
it's easy
They're
to
the
get
bad
lit at
people.
each night.
They're the cause of the problems. Let's all stick together. That's a really dangerous thing to do in a multi-ethnic society, especially in a university where we're actually all trying to work together.
Look at this freak. Look at this. That's a big megaphone too. See, this is an indoctrinated person, guys. This being is cooked. And she ain't happy, or he ain't happy.
Together to solve the problem. If we're creating multi-ethnic environments on campuses, and in most of our organizations, we're struggling to increase diversity, what you should obviously be doing is turning down the tribal sentiments, is emphasizing what we have in common.
I work for myself, so I
identity
drink more
politics
during
done
the
with a
day
common
and everything.
humanity frame is a good thing and is likely to
then you
work.
really get in trouble, but
Identity
it's no way
politics
to live
done
for
by
a long
uniting
time.
everybody against the people with power and privilege, one race versus another race, one gender versus another gender. This is madness. This is a really bad idea if you're trying to emphasize and increase diversity and inclusion. We call that
Equilibrium's
common
dropping
enemy
facts
identity
in here.
politics. The more we encourage people to see the people around them as good versus evil, the harder it's going to be to create an inclusive, diverse environment.
Thank you. Very well said, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this guy is awesome. So that should be a book that you look into, Keyshawn. You can get on an audiobook. It's called The Anxious Generation, but the first one was called The Coddling of the American Mind. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's really interesting. It's about a whole bunch of stuff. So now we're going to show you what Homer was. A little brief thing on Homer. So, illustration of the oral poet. Poetry was how a lot of philosophers and Greek people would do talk to their scribe, who would then write them down.
Welcome to English Language.
And I kind of think this is what they're trying to base Homer Simpson, because you never hear the word Homer anywhere else.
Literature, where we explore the lives of some of history's greatest writers. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the life and work of Homer, the legendary poet who is believed to have authored the epic poems The Iliad and the Odyssey. Let's get started. Homer is the legendary ancient Greek poet, often credited with writing two of the most influential works in Western literature, the epic poems The Iliad and the Odyssey, as already maintained. Despite the fact that little is known about Homer's personal life, his works have had a profound impact on the world of literature and continue to be studied and revered to this day. It is believed that Homer was born in the ancient Greek city of Smyrna, which is now known as Izmir in modern-day
We'll
Turkey.
go over it on the show, Keyshawn.
Although
too.
the
I'll
exact
do
dates
a
of his
show
birth
on
and
that.
death are unknown, most scholars believe that he lived sometime between the 8th and 7th centuries BCE. According to ancient tradition, Homer was a blind poet who traveled from town to town reciting his epic poems. However, some scholars dispute this notion and suggest that he may have been a court poet or a teacher who composed his works for a specific audience. One theory suggests that Homer was not an individual person, but rather a collective name used by a group of poets who wrote and performed the epic poems.
This is what they're doing with The Simpsons a little bit. Homer is supposed to be an amalgamation and a combination of the lower middle class, white American working class man with the factory job.
Others argue that Homer was a real person who composed the poems and traveled throughout Greece reciting them. His famous work, The Iliad, tells the story of the Trojan War, a 10-year conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans over the beautiful Helen, wife of King Menelaus.
She looks like a pig, though.
The Odyssey follows the adventures of the Greek hero Odysseus as he tries to make his way home after the war. Homer's works were not only entertaining but also served as a means of preserving the cultural and historical traditions of the ancient Greeks. They are also notable for their vivid descriptions of human emotion and psychology, as well as their depictions of complex characters with both virtues and flaws. In addition to their literary significance, the Iliad and the Odyssey have also had a profound impact on Western art and culture. They have been adapted into countless plays, films, and television shows, and their
sound from films and television shows. television shows.
Influence can be seen in everything from contemporary literature to video games. Despite the fact that little is known about Homer's personal life, there are many legends and myths
I don't know this
surrounding
for
him.
fact, Kevin. I'm just
One
assuming
popular
this.
story is that he was inspired to write the Iliad after hearing the tales of the Trojan War from a group of blind bards. Another story suggests that he was a sailor who traveled extensively throughout the Mediterranean. Regardless of the truth behind these legends, Homer's legacy as one of the greatest poets in Western literature is indisputable. His works continue to captivate and inspire readers and scholars alike, and his influence can be seen in everything from literature and art to politics and philosophy. Homer is widely recognized as one of the greatest poets of ancient Greece, and his work remains influential to this day. One of the most fascinating aspects of Homer's work is the fact that he was an oral poet, meaning that he composed his epic poems in a time when writing was not yet widely practiced.
That's what I was trying to say. So back then, a lot of times, forget if it's Socrates. Yeah, that was AJ on that boat. Yeah, I was gonna say something about that. It's like something's wrong with this picture. I don't really think that guy made that boat. He stole that boat. That's why he doesn't know how to drive it. So they would speak in like poetry and stuff like that. So I forget if it's Plato or Socrates. Like they would be a philosopher, but they would have to tell it to their scribe, which means that someone who knew how to write, and they would basically, just sit there recording everything that he was saying. And I forget if it's Plato or Socrates, but they actually had to delete him. I think he was in his 80s, and he married like a 16-year-old. He was killing it, and he was like pretty much fine. So a lot of things that Plato and Socrates and stuff say in Plato's Republic and everything still are very true to this day. So these people were very smart. Some people say they lived a lot longer than we did, so therefore they can gain more wisdom and stuff. So it's kind of interesting. But now that I have my own channel, we're going to cover more of that coddling of the American mind, because I think you guys will like it. And one other thing, Keyshawn, don't look at any dirty stuff on the internet that can really mess you up. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah, Homer Simpson still owned a 2-story home, property, car, and could afford 3 children, 1 income. Yeah, because it started in the 80s and 90s, so that was more tangible then. So it's more of a that was more of like the white picket fence type, all that crap. So this is just my theory. That's why they're calling it Homer. But so Homer is like they said, they're not sure if Homer was one man or is not one man. But Homer is an amalgamation of men, basically, wisdom of men. But Simpson is the part where he's just like an idiot simp living in Springfield. There's a Springfield in every state. That's why they pick Springfield like that. So it's just a theory. But the Simpsons, I'll even give you maybe an example of this, of Simpsons, how they predict stuff, but it's predictive programming. That's why when I did my live stream yesterday, showing you that synagogue stuff, I want to show you the crisis actors and stuff, how they are predictive programming you real time in real life.
Instead, Homer would have memorized his poems and recited them from memory, often with the help of specific mnemonic techniques. One of the most notable of these techniques is known as optic highlighting. This technique involves using vivid and memorable imagery to help the audience remember key details of the story. For example, in the opening lines of the Iliad, Homer uses the image of a bitter quarrel between Achilles and Agamemnon to set up the conflict that drives the rest of the poem. Throughout the poem, Homer uses similar techniques to highlight important characters, events, and themes. Another key aspect of Homer's poetry is its use of a cumulative structure. This means that the poem builds up its meaning and intensity through a series of repeated phrases and motifs. For example, in the Iliad, Homer repeatedly refers to Achilles as the swift-footed hero, highlighting his physical prowess and emphasizing his importance to the story. Similarly, the phrase, "wine dark sea," is used repeatedly throughout the poem, creating a sense of continuity and resonance that ties the various episodes of the story together. These cumulative techniques are not only effective mnemonic devices but also contribute to the overall power and beauty of Homer's poetry. By repeating key phrases and images, Homer creates a sense of unity and coherence that draws the audience into the world of the poem and makes it easier for them to remember and appreciate its various elements. In conclusion, Homer was a legendary poet who has had a profound impact on the world of literature and Western culture. Despite the fact that little is known about his personal life, his epic poems The Iliad and the Odyssey continue to be studied and revered to this day. From their vivid descriptions of human emotion to their complex characters and enduring themes, Homer's works have left an indelible mark on the literary and cultural landscape. That's all for today's video on Homer. We hope you enjoyed learning more about the life and legacy of this iconic poet.
Number 15, Lady Gaga Super Bowl Halftime Show, Season 23, Episode 22. In the second episode of The Simpsons' 23rd season, the special guest star was Lady Gaga, who performed for the town while hovering in midair. Whether this inspired Gaga or not, this came uncannily true just 5 years later when she performed at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
She began by standing on the roof of the Houston NRG Stadium as she sang her opening song, and then, as the show continued, she flew down to the stage below with the assistance of wires, virtually in precisely the same way as she had done in Springfield. It remains one of the most acrobatic shows to ever take place at the Super Bowl, and was probably all thanks to The Simpsons. Number 14, the U.S. Curling Victory, Season 21, Episode 12. While the Olympics are open to representatives from every country in the world to take part in, there are some sports that some nations are so good at that it's a surprise if they don't take home the gold. One of these that happens at the Winter Olympics is curling, when the Swedes are almost always the favorites for the event. In the 12th episode of Season 21 from 2010, Homer and Marge travel to the Vancouver Olympics, where they compete against Sweden in curling. Despite falling behind, they manage to cause an upset and win in the end. In 2018, life imitated art, and the U.S. men's team won in exactly the same way, only the second time ever that they had medaled in the event. Number 13, Disney's purchase of Fox, Season 10, Episode 5. Disney has become one of the most powerful entertainment companies.
I know that Disney owned Fox. I'm not surprised. So there's only like everything is owned, or a lot of everything is really owned by just a handful of companies. So it's not surprising. They just change hands on who they are, but a lot of stuff is just owned by like a few companies.
Companies in the world and often buy out their competitors. When, in an episode from 1998, Homer goes to pitch a film idea to executives at Fox, it said beneath the company logo that it was a division of Disney. Most people thought it to be just a joke and that something like this would never happen. They were, of course, wrong. And in another example of The Simpsons predicting the future, Disney purchased the conglomerate in 2017 for a price of over $52 billion, bringing franchises like X-Men, Avatar, and The Simpsons under the control of the House of Mouse. Number 12, President Trump, Season 11, Episode 17. In the episode titled Bart to the Future, which was first aired in 2000, we see what the future of The Simpsons was like, with Lisa as the president in the White House and Bart as a failed musician. The idea behind the episode was that the vision was warning to Bart that he needed to change his ways to prevent wasting his life. But were The Simpsons writers instead warning us, the viewers, of something else? In a meeting, Lisa mentions that the country had been left in quite a financial mess thanks to President Trump. Again, something that most people wrote off as being a joke, but one that became all too real in November of 2016.
By the way, guys, stop simping for Trump. I don't care if you like the guy or not. Stop simping for him. He's getting us in wars. He's lying to us. Okay, has the price of gas gone down? No, it's gone up. Has the price of groceries gone down? No, it's gone up. Did you get any of that Doge money? Remember how, oh, we're sending you checks of the Doge money. Did you get any of that? No. So he's in on it just like everyone else. So stop simping for Trump. Is he better than Kamala Harris? Yes. But he's not like the greatest guy ever. I'm getting pissed off with that. Stop simping for Trump.
2016 when Donald Trump won the presidential election. Number 11, Censoring Art, Season 2, Episode 9.
Yeah.
One of the earliest...
Orange Man is a small hat now. He became a small hat once Jared Kushner married Ivanka. He like officially went to small hat. He just keeps it quiet. He kissed the wall and everything. And he's obviously Israel's bitch too. So he's in on it. Yeah. So like, you know, this is what I'm trying to say, guys. Like, you know, it's, you know, it's bad.
Simpsons' predictions to come true was broadcast in 1990. The 9th episode of the 2nd season showed how residents of Springfield protested the displaying of Michelangelo's David because of the nudity and insisted that it was covered up. Fast forward more than 25 years, and that's exactly what happened in St. Petersburg in Russia. A 16-foot-tall plastic replica of the world-famous statue was put up on show in the center of the city, but following complaints by parents and residents, and a poll was conducted to decide which clothes, if any, should be put on the statue to make it more appropriate. Number 10, horse.
We're going to talk about Russia a lot too on this channel as well. And Daddy Putin.
Meat Scandal, Season 5, Episode 19. The quality of school dinners is always questionable, and in a 1994 episode of The Simpsons from Season 5, lunch lady Doris is dealing with a reduced budget and resorts to adding assorted horse parts to the meals in place of the meat she'd normally use. It turned out that this isn't as unusual as you may want to think.
Yeah, McDonald's does a lot of this and stuff too. In fact, speaking of Putin, Putin has said before that there's small amounts of human meat and stuff in the fast food and everything. So do with that as you will. Which would that surprise you? Because we have people eating kids. So why not just put some in the food? Get the people addicted to it. They'll, you know, they kill each other for fried food, for fast food.
In 2013, a scandal took hold across Europe as it was discovered that horse meat was being used in products that had claimed they contained beef. At least 4.5 million pre-prepared dishes such as lasagna, chili, and burgers were sold throughout 13 countries and contained, in some cases, only horse meat. They were sold in supermarkets, given to patients in hospitals and to children in schools, and was one of the biggest food hygiene scandals of recent times. Now,
hey, maybe that's why our women are becoming such whores.
how much more stringent checks are in place to prevent it from happening
Is that a yay or a nay?
again, but they probably should have just watched The Simpsons instead. Number 9, The Higgs Boson Particle, Season 8, Episode 1. The proof that the existence of the Higgs boson particle required the construction of the largest machine mankind has ever built, and was hailed as one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the last decade.
Must be like CERN.
But was all this effort actually needless, and all researchers needed was to watch an episode of The Simpsons? In the first episode of Season 8, Homer becomes an inventor and is surprisingly good at math. The show is known for hiding equations and ideas within the scripts, but at one point on a blackboard is a seemingly random equation. Now looking back, physicists say that this writing is actually a remarkably close description of the mass of a Higgs boson, and only works out to be a fraction larger than the true measurement that was made in the super collider at CERN. For The Simpsons to have got there 15 years earlier seems almost impossible to believe. Number 8, Nobel Prize winner, Season 22, Episode 1. The writers of The Simpsons have always had a close affinity to science, but this prediction shows just how on the pulse they actually are. When Season 22 premiered in 2010, Martin, Lisa, Milhouse, and a database make a betting pool for who they think will win the Nobel Prizes in each category that year. All of these are real people who are active in their respective fields, but incredibly in 2016, one of them did actually win. Bent Holstrom from MIT was a joint winner of the Economics Prize, thanks to his work on contract theory and ideas of how to determine what should be government-owned and what should be controlled by private interests.
And a lot of Nobel Prize is kind of garbage now. It's not what it used to be. It's great this guy got a Nobel Prize, but did he help you out? Did he help turn the economy around? No.
Lisa was probably very upset with the announcement of this because the others are yet to win, and this presumably makes Milhouse a true future visionary. Number 7, Three-Eyed Fish, Season 2, Episode 4. One of the most famous episodes of The Simpsons from the second season was the one where Bart captures a fish in the pond near the nuclear power plant. Named Blinky, this fish had 3 eyes and led to the citizens of Springfield leading protests about the pollution being released into the environment. Luckily, mutations like this are extremely rare, but not unheard of. In 2011, a fisherman in Cordoba, Argentina, caught his very own Blinky from a reservoir near a nuclear power plant. It was a species.
Jesus, look at that thing. Wow, I never knew that.
She's a wolffish, and at first, he and his friends didn't notice because it was too...
So I've eaten wolffish from I believe it was wolffish. I went to this like Chinese market that was in Boston, and I bought a bunch of canned fish and just weird shit, and it actually tasted unbelievable. It almost is like a very tough protein, like a kind of like a jerky.
Too dark. The next day, though, the reality became all too clear, and they couldn't decide whether they would eat it or not. It turned out that not only was this reservoir
if you eat it, you get superpowers
near the plant, but there was also a water outlet pipe that led straight into it, proving yet again that the Simpsons had the foresight to see what could happen in places like this. Number 6, Smartwatches, Season 6, Episode 19.
Yeah, Obama won.
The 19th episode of Season 6 saw the Simpsons visiting a Renaissance fair. Lisa soon found herself in the fortune teller's tent, and this set up another episode that was set in...
Let me go back to this. So, you see this...
So the Simpsons visited...
That turning thing? That was really made by a really cool invention, I think by George Washington, actually. So he had this rotisserie thing. He would have the fire go up his chimney, and spin like a almost like a water wheel thing that made heat, and then that was connected to like a rope and pulley that would turn around and make like a rotisserie thing. Ben Franklin, or it might have been George Washington, but he would do that exact thing. But he made it go up his chimney, and then the hot air and smoke would turn like a wheel around that was connected to a chain or rope or some type of mechanism, so it would do it automatically.
A Renaissance fair. Lisa soon found herself in the fortune teller's tent, and this set up another episode that was set in the future. It's difficult for most shows to show technology that will be around many years from now. But on this occasion, The Simpsons managed to get it spot on. One of the characters is seen using a watch that flips open and that he can talk into. It responds back to him with the information he needs in what appears to be a premonition of the development of smartwatches. This episode aired in 1995, which is almost 20 years before the so-called Year of the Smartwatch in 2014. Now they're commonly seen across the country and are probably proudly owned by whichever Simpsons writer came up with this idea back in the 90s. Number 5, Siegfried and Roy Tiger, Season 5, Episode 10. Siegfried and Roy were once one of the world's leading magic acts, famed for performing...
I want to see one of those in real life.
...with tigers and headlined at the Mirage Resort and Casino for over a decade in what was described as the most visited show in Nevada. Because of their notoriety, they featured in the 5th season of The Simpsons, in an episode that was broadcast in 1993, which began with the news that Springfield had legalized gambling. Homer took on a job as a blackjack dealer in Mr. Burns' new casino, and in the auditorium there was a magic act that parodied Siegfried and Roy's routine. While performing, however, they were mauled by one of their white tigers, and tragically this event came to pass in real life just 10 years later. During a performance in 2003, Roy was attacked by one of their white tigers called Manticore. It grabbed him by the neck while on stage and dragged him into the wings like he was a rag doll. Despite losing a large quantity of blood, he survived the incident, but suffered from life-changing injuries that meant he'd never be able to perform the same way again. Following this, the duo produced a show based on their act called Father of the Pride, and returned to the stage a few years later for several one-off shows before officially retiring from show business in 2010. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. Number 4, The Shard, Season 6, Episode 19. Due to their unique designs, city skylines around the world are instantly recognizable. If you think of New York or Paris, there are certain buildings that you would expect to see in a drawing of them. But in an episode from 1995, The Simpsons animators appear to have got London extremely wrong. The Season 6 episode, which was set in the future, showed Big Ben and Tower Bridge, but there was a peculiarly shaped skyscraper further to the left that looked like no building in the city at all. That was until 14 years later when plans were submitted and accepted for a new
Which that's not too crazy to guess that.
Structure called The Shard. Now completed, it's the tallest building in London and offers views across the entire city. It's known for having an unusual design, particularly at the top where it only looks half-finished. But this seems almost exactly how it was shown in the Simpsons episode all those years before. Not only does the structure look just like the Shard, but its position in London is virtually identical in the cartoon to where it was built in real life too. Either the owners of it took inspiration from the show, the Simpson producers had seen the plans way ahead of time, or it's more proof that
they saw the plans way ahead of time. These contracts take a long time to get approved and stuff.
They have a knack for predicting the future like no one else. Number 3, FIFA Corruption Scandal, Season 25, Episode 16. In the 16th episode of the 25th season, which was broadcast in 2014, Lisa gave a speech to her classmates in which she talks about Homer and mentions that there was a time when he gave her a red card and sent her off from a soccer game that he was refereeing. A video of this speech went viral and led to Homer being called by FIFA, the world governing body for the sport, to referee some matches in the World Cup in Brazil. The reason they needed his help was that they had found themselves short-handed after finding out about massive corruption in the sport, and Homer goes on to do a good job and sees the German team winning the tournament. In this episode, the show actually managed to get 2 predictions spot on. The first was that Germany did win the World Cup that very same year, and the second was that the following year FIFA became
I bet they use a lot of numerology and Eastern Western astrology too to help do some of these predictions.
embroiled within one of the biggest cases of corruption in recent times. Staff from across the organization, including those at the top of the sport, were arrested and sacked for allegations of bribery, fraud, and money laundering, and it sent shockwaves throughout world sport.
They should have called it FIFA.
Luckily, though, it has never quite led them to needing to hire a dad from Springfield to officiate any of their high-profile games. Number 2, Faulty Voting Machines, Season 20, Episode 4.
That's easy to predict.
The Simpsons have never shied away from highlighting social injustices and commenting on our reliance on technology, and the 4th episode of the 20th season again managed to predict the future with frightening accuracy.
Yeah, Dominion operating system of the voting machine.
It was a Treehouse of Horrors special, and during the opening scene, Homer has gone to vote. He's at the machine and is trying to select Barack Obama, but it always registers the vote for John McCain instead. He tries to vote 6 times, including once where he presses McCain's name in the hope that it selects Obama. But in the end, he's forced to give up because no matter what he did, the vote always ended up showing the same. Not wanting to cast a vote like this, he heads off to report it so it can be fixed. But the machine didn't want him to reveal the secret. It sucked him in, killed him, and then spat out again before Jasper puts an "I voted" sticker on his forehead. Strangely, this wasn't too far from what would happen.
Yeah, if you put an "I voted" sticker on, you're a simp. Never put an "I voted" sticker on. That's
where he presses McCain's name in the hope that it selects Obama. But in the end, he's forced to give up because no matter what he did, the vote always ended up showing the same. Not wanting to cast a vote like this, he heads off to report it so it can be fixed. But the machine didn't want him to reveal the secret. It sucked him in, killed him, and then spat out again before Jasper puts an "I voted" sticker on his forehead. Strangely, this wasn't too far from what would happen just 4 years later, and there are concerns it may be more common than anyone realizes. In the 2012 election, when Obama was up for his second term, a video emerged from Pennsylvania. In it, a man was trying to vote for the incumbent president, but whenever he did, it would instead select Mitt Romney. When asked for comment, representatives from the Republican Party claimed that the opposite had been reported happening too, and it understandably raised some concerns about the accuracy of the machines. Those who encountered the problem said that everything had worked fine if they tried to vote for someone else, and that it would only happen if they selected Obama's name, which made them further suspicious of why this was happening. The voter who recorded the video eventually found one part of the screen he could touch that would register it properly, and was apparently told by a poll worker that this means there wasn't any problem at all. Once the video went viral, however, the machine was removed to be recalibrated. But by this time, it's unclear how many votes had been affected. The Simpsons writers yet again predicted future issues that may be faced by the increasing use of technology in such important processes, like voting. And if people either don't trust that it's working properly or it actively registers your vote for someone else entirely, then it's a problem that goes to the heart of a democracy. With recent concerns about the possibility that hackers from an enemy state might be able to access large numbers of these machines to
it's probably Russian hackers.
affect the outcome of an election, this might be one Simpson prediction that comes true time and time again. Number 1. Donut-Shaped Universe, Season 10, Episode 22. With such a love of math and science, it seemed only natural that one of the world's foremost physicists would make an appearance in The Simpsons. So when the writers found out that Stephen Hawking was going to guest star,
Friend of Jeffrey Epstein,
they had an opportunity to put him in a room with the world's dumbest person. While sat in Moe's Tavern drinking a beer, Hawking ended up admitting that your theory of a donut-shaped universe is intriguing. I may have to steal it. Just a few years later, new modeling of the universe's creation started to suggest that the donut theory might in fact be the case. Instead of being an infinite structure, it's now believed to be finite and continuously wraps back in on itself. A number of observations such as unexpected ripples in the fabric of space-time are pointing towards it, and means that possibly Homer is far more intelligent than anyone had. Theory of a donut-shaped universe is, instead of being an infinite structure, it's now believed to be finite and continuously wraps back in on itself.
that's like a 304's butthole, and that's all herpes all over it. That's what the new universe is now.
A number of observations such as unexpected ripples in the fabric of space-time are pointing towards it, and means that possibly Homer is far more intelligent than anyone had given him credit for.
Your theory of a donut-shaped universe is intriguing, Homer. I may have to steal it.
Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.
Oh man. So thanks for tonight, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. I didn't even plan to do this. I just saw the AJ show was gonna be canceled. So I get to work over this weekend to finish a job, and I'm smoked. So I'm gonna go to bed. Like and subscribe if you're new. We're gonna do more lives and cover all sorts of topics. This one we covered dating dynamics. A little bit of that synagogue thing just for a few minutes. Saw some B-dubs get arrested. So that hooker that Marilyn Manson chick get arrested. We went over Homer, the Iliad, the Odyssey. That was pretty cool. And a little bit of Simpsons predictive programming. So you guys have a great night. Thanks so much. And, I make clips of these lives. So I've made some clips of some past lives. So if you guys like any of this, go back and check some of them out. I made a bunch of shorts and stuff too that are, mostly funny, but sometimes also serious too. So thanks a lot, guys. Be safe this Friday the 13th. Don't get drunk tonight, or Freddy Krueger or someone will come get you. Bye-bye.